And we're live, back again, Thursday. I haven't been keeping up with shit this week. I saw Transformium of the Beast yesterday, and I'm now seeing The Flash today. Saw it, and I'm going to talk about it and let Rookie, having not seen it, and you, the chat, possibly random guest pop it in, pick my brain about anything as well. That's why the show's late, because I went to see The Flash and then I had a Wendy's Caesar salad. Didn't want anything too filling for dinner. Yeah, The Flash is a movie. And that's kind of where I'm stuck on it, because it's not horrible, Karen. Yes, I see you. Time I arrived. Yeah, a little bit later than normal. I don't know how long this one will go, but yeah, and it's funny too. Right off the bat, a lot of the CGI, you may have seen a clip or two. Like there's a clip from the third act where the two Flashes run in a circle and they touch shoes and then split back around to remake the circle, and it's like cringe.
It sounds like the plot of a little porno.
It's something. Let me pull this up really quick. I gotta search for it. On the
while you do that, I got something funny to share. I've been filming all week. The Fat Speedster coming soon, and I've been waking up at like 6 a.m. every morning to film stuff. And sometimes for certain shots, I move things out of the way, and I was like moving plates out of the way, but there's still food on them, so I didn't like put them in the dishwasher yet. I put them in the fridge thinking, yeah, I'll just get them when I'm done with the scene real quick. And then...
Your clothes?
No, I said plates.
Oh.
I said I was like filming around the house, and I was in the kitchen for some of the scenes that I was filming, and I put these plates in the fridge thinking, whatever, dinner plates, bigger plates. And then like later, it was just like, there's only like 3 plates in the house. What the fuck? And then like I totally forgot I put them in the fridge because I'm so tired. I'm just like... And apparently I put them in the fridge yesterday. It wasn't even today. Like that's how much I'm like, oh, that's weird. I didn't see them there at all. Just fudged, trying to make real speedster films, not the fucking Flash. He's jealous of me. Yeah. He said he has a heart rate monitor or something, or blood sugar, and I'm like, that's perfect.
I'm assuming like, glucose. Runs a little bit,
and then it's like, oh, you got to eat another donut, fatty, or something. Get that sugar, or an apple, or whatever, however that works.
Oh, we got Raster Caster first appearance on The Beef. It's an hour later than normal, so anyone that normally watches may not even be ready. But hey, how's it going?
Doing all right. I just want to just come in, and I'm actually going to be on Adam's show or whatever. But I just want to come in and everything and just pop in to say, hey, I haven't actually spoke to you or anything. So
I think there's a stream that like you might have been on with me on his channel, but you had to go or something like that. So
yeah. It's been hectic around lately and everything because I do a lot of freelance work, but also do stuff full time. So I'm a full time designer and animator. So I'm like always.
That makes sense with your art. Sorry, I was smacking. I was drinking some blueberry ale.
Oh, no problem. No, I just want to come in. What topics you got going on for your show about to come up and.
Just The Flash. Oh, we're live right now.
Oh, you live? Oh,
yeah.
I didn't know you were live.
No, you're fine. I ad lib it every week usually. I'm busy.
I understand.
But no, I just got out and have been talking to Rookie a bit about plot points beforehand. While I had a salad, and so now we're live. And this is like Rookie hasn't seen it, and he's pretty good at like. Communicating about a film he hasn't seen from what I'm giving him and being like, oh, does it go this way or that way? And and I'm like, no, so that's what this is going to be.
He's talking to me and then for like 20 minutes, and I was like, that's the whole movie, right? And he's like,
it's like movie plot charade.
A plot. And I'm like, that's an act.
I'm just like, I don't.
Movie.
I'm like, it sounds like you told me a whole TV show of like plot. I'm like, that's
right.
Enough, right?
So you're anyone else in the vet stream chat that comes in. If you haven't seen already, I think it's you I've seen that like we're really pissed off at a potential spoiler that got shared on Twitter of an image.
Yeah.
I'm here to tell you it's true. It's real.
Yeah. I've already heard
it.
it's true. I already know it's true, but
I love it.
I'm actually going to be. I actually took tomorrow off. I actually scheduled time off, and I was going to go to the theater, and I was going to take my dad. Oh man, I told him, I said, "Would you like to go to the movies and watch this movie with me?" Because it's kind of a Father's Day kind of type thing.
Okay.
And I could be totally like being kind of, I guess, a kind of shitty gift. I don't know, but I don't know. We'll find out.
It's an ugly necktie.
Yeah, but I gotta say though, I guess it's. I'll be honest with you. It's like they got me on the nostalgia bait because Michael Keaton, Batman 1989. I'm kind of showing my age here. 1989 was actually the first movie I got to see in a theater. And my dad went to go take me to go see it. And from that point on, it made me a hardcore DC fan. And I'm like an avid like omnibus and collected editions collector.
Okay,
and
so
I have a whole library.
DC guy.
Yeah, and
I am not.
I'm going into this knowing that it's not going to be a direct adaptation to Flashpoint. And honestly, you couldn't. There's so many people that
you'd have to make a trilogy to make a Flashpoint film.
Yeah, but at the same time, I understand that I'm actually okay with them adapting it because you got this is something that I think they needed to do if they were going to do a Flashpoint. The whole point of the original Flashpoint was to reset a universe, and it's kind of weird because to do an accurate Flashpoint, you would already have to have a good established universe with characters and like the lore and all that kind of stuff. And DC never did it. I mean, the Snyderverse kind of like brushed on it, and they never really hit the mark on it. So they don't even have that. So they're going to use a movie or theoretically to reboot the universe, but you don't have enough ingredients in there to actually make a real true Flashpoint. And if you have a universe to be,
I was just say the Flashpoint for like this film is really this is here because of the state of their films. All they have is Batman, and even that where they're going with the Batman universe is on its own. So far, but DC's so stuck ever since Infinite Crisis, if not earlier. The fandom, whatever, about continuity of every fucking iteration in some form or fashion, different Earths. It's really a headache, and it's annoying. And they put themselves in this whole just IP wise of DC with the comics, and then with the state of the films. And new management now with Discovery buying it. They can have their cake and eat it too and do anything they want. So
yeah,
it's good for that way, but it's also like, well, what matters? Because if anything sucks, they're just like, oh, that's just its own Earth. You know, like
DC has a thing now, and they already said that I think that the Patterson films are going to be what they consider Elseworlds, and so is Joker, and I think they're actually going to come with unique branding when they show the the regular logo flash in the beginning like Marvel does and everything. It's going to be a distinct logo reveal where it says Elseworlds or something like that. Something to the effect that I want to say that I think they're talking about doing, which would make sense because you're going to have like people like my dad be like, well, wait a minute, I thought in the last Batman movie, and I'm like, no, that's not canonical to this right here. That's why Ben Affleck is appearing in this one, even though last year we saw the little Twinkie and everything playing him. All right, so the I will say in now in present comics or whatever, they do kind of have something like that, and it's called Black Label Comics with DC. Okay. And those are actually very good. That's where you get like the White Knight storyline, like the let me see, I got one where it Yeah, and that one is actually really good. A lot of people don't like that interpretation. I actually like it because
It's fucking awesome.
yeah. I'm not, and quite honestly, I'm not exactly a fan of the art. I just like it for the story because like I like the way they took it, um and I have every single book in hardcover. Like I'm definitely a diehard hardcover guy. I will not ever buy I buy floppies only to get them graded and then mount them on the wall because I can't stand waiting for single issues. Everybody's like, I got my first issue or whatever, and I'm like,
Oh no,
I
I
don't have
agree.
that patience.
I'm a novice comic guy. I'm a film guy. I'm a Star Wars guy. That's how I got into this because of EVS and Comicsgate. I had read a few comics here and there, but see, you know, it's just a side note. It's funny that CG is like we're the Nazis to the mainstream, but it's like I've only bought in any of your shit, not even because of your movies, but because of CG and wanting to read good stories. So I've gone back and bought volumes and stuff, or go to the library and read old shit. Because I've gotten into this medium through CG. But no, I totally agree. Like it's cool. Like I support the comic shop within reason, but a lot of times what I do, just money management is I'll buy an issue 1 or I'll find a random like dollar bin issue. I'm like, that looks cool. And that is my bookmark to go either to the library or online and read it for free.
Yeah. I had a normally what I'll do is I'll wait for like the run to be over. I mean, everybody's like, why you keep buying DC and they keep shitting on the customer? I'm like, yeah. I'm a crackhead when it comes to shit. I'll be a total hypocrite on that. I'll admit it. But I guess there's still stuff there. There's enough diamond in the roughs in there to keep me coming back. I'll sit there and say that. Like I actually was going to be one of the very few people probably sit there and say I actually like the Dark Knight's metal. I thought that was actually I actually liked it because I liked that there was a dark multiverse and there's actually a spin-off, like not necessarily a spin-off, it's kind of like these side books, they're not part of the main line. And I have that in a collection. It's called Tales from the Dark Multiverse. And it's basically imagine everything really screwed up and like these all these major events that you might have normally read where they have an alternate version where it didn't end up so well, and it's kind of all of them have a bad ending, if that makes any sense. And I'm like, I thought that's kind of it's basically a what if, like like DC's version of what if. And I actually enjoyed it. And then they have like the Dark Knight's death metal, and I'm like, they really went over the top with it, but it was fun. It was a fun book. I'm like, a lot of stuff, a lot of people get caught up in everything. Is it going to be like your good old like Tim Sale books or anything like that? No, it's not going to be like that. And those things were kind of like, but it's kind of to a point now where a lot of stories have kind of been told, and if you want something real unique, go for the black labels. But my biggest thing with movies is entertain me. Just entertain me. Don't lecture me. Entertain me. And
you know what? With this, well, I want to kind of steer us back a bit because I don't know how long you're gonna be on here because I know Adam's doing his knife fans, whatever. Do you want to know anything about the film, or do you want to inquire anything? Me having viewed it, you're gonna go see it tomorrow.
I'll tell you what. I will go into. I like to go into this blind. I'm gonna, because I've already kind of caught some thumbnails with some gays on it and everything, and I already know a lot of people within our circles are like, "Oh, it sucks," and I'm like, "Hang on. I might pull a lofty if I see it tomorrow. I don't know, but we'll see."
Well, okay, so I'll talk around it for you. Give you my perspective without spoilers or even really plot details as much as I can. Although I usually just talk spoilers, so I'll try to hone myself. So opening scene, you've seen snippets from the trailers that are all open scene. Opening scene is not jarring, but it fucking goes on too long. It has a comedic gag attempt that some might find it funny or humorous. I could definitely see this kind of over the top melodrama, wacky. Like I could see this as a comic storyboard plot, and it would be fine. It would be like, oh, save the day. use your specific powers. Super person, Flash does this, Batman does this. But it goes on way too long. And also because it's slow-mo, the CGI, which of course you can, even in good shit, you can tell, well, that's going to be computer generated. But like the CGI, almost this whole film is really bad. Especially for these close-up shots. It's like the first example I can think of is, it's probably not even fair to it, but Cats and Dogs, the like 2000 film with Tobey Maguire and Alec Baldwin. That movie is 2000 and it's a kids movie, so it's like totally fine that the CGI isn't great, or like Scooby-Doo. It's that level though of CGI in 2023 for most of the movie. Most of the time, I think most people won't complain about double Ezra, because there's a lot of scenes where it's like, all right, that someone's being a double here, and so they got a CGI face, or vice versa. They kind of evenly flip flop the two berries, which isn't a spoil. It's in the trailers. Two berries. They kind of flip flop evenly when each one is CGI for the dual scenes. It wasn't too bad for that. It wasn't like Superman lip bad from Justice League. Tonally, this movie's kind of all over the place, and definitely gets a few key points of Flashpoint. Keaton, I'm not an 89 Batman guy. It's okay, I own it, but my favorite of the Burton era is Val Kilmer's movie. I guess he's not dead yet, but I guess he's dying of cancer or whatever. So I really wish we could have gotten a Val Kilmer Batman in this movie. I'm fine with George Clooney because Clooney's a great actor and he's crapped on his performance himself. So
I'm actually surprised that they didn't attempt, because I know that they made up a slew of cameos in this thing, and like at least in images. I'm like, if you could squeeze them in there into the new Top Gun Maverick movie, then why didn't they put him in there as like some kind of Kingdom Come Superman in with his life support suit and everything, where he has a chest armor and everything, and he doesn't have to talk.
Right.
Because he's supposed to be old and kind of worn out and everything. Where he has like the stuff that kind of helps him get around, mobility suit and all that stuff.
So what cameos images have you seen?
I haven't seen any images. I just know that there's been some. I think was it like a steal of Christopher Reeves and of course the original Supergirl, and then I know that there's Nicolas Cage fights the Spider.
That was the one that I was surprised by. Like, holy fuck, they've actually made that canon, or maybe I don't know. They've actually brought that to the screen in some form or fashion. And I'm like, now I'm thinking about it, I kind of wonder what he would be like playing Clark and Superman. Like if he go the Reeves route.
Yeah, it's one of the things where it's like it's what I like. DC, I actually will say, at least in the comics, and people will argue with me on this too. I was like, they actually handle the multiverse pretty well. I mean, they really do. And the great thing is that why I guess I don't get too bent out of shape and everything. Like everything's correctable. Yeah, it is a plot device or whatever, but they actually got a lot of good stuff from it. Like there's this new issue that came out, and this is the one I did. It did buy a floppy of a single issue, and it was it's actually, God, what was the actual number on it? But it's actually Batman's 900th comic, and it's by 900 or whatever, and it's and in this comic or whatever, it's like this whole like where Batman goes to the multiverses, and it's kind of like almost like Spider-Verse for Batman, and he meets even the Batman 66 version of himself. He meets the Dark Knight's Returns version of himself, and he basically makes commentary on like how each one of them's different and all that kind of stuff as he's going through like jumping multiverses. And I was like, that is really cool. That is like, it was like a good homage to the history of Batman. But anyway, I could probably geek out for this for a long time, man. I just want to pop in and just say hello and
appreciate it.
And but I gotta get over there to Adam and everything and start yelling at him,
fun.
ruin his show. All right, later, man.
No, I appreciate your insight because I'm not besides some Batman, like more of his like just like kind of short term stories like Long Halloween, Dark Knight Returns, White Knight. I think I've read Curse of White Knight, but I need to reread it and read Beyond. But yeah, Batman's cool. I think DC sucks because they have really cool concepts. They have really cool powers, but they don't have characters. That's my view as like I'm a Marvel guy. I like the Marvel formula, the template of a character that gets powers and not a fucking god.
Oh, it's okay. It's okay to be wrong sometimes. It's all right. All right. Well, on that note, I gotta get out, man. It's nice talking to you, bud.
Yeah, we'll have to do it again.
All right, later.
That was Rastercaster, and go over to Vets Talking later, watch their replay, or maybe they'll still be live later. I don't know how long I'll be going, but Rookie, Raster's gone, so you are free to spoil this movie for everybody, and you can of course bounce off what I'm saying. And
Gargoyles is a pretty good show. Surprisingly, that's a good one that you guys should probably watch.
Get out of here!
I just started watching it, and I think it's fourth at a time. Yeah.
No, Gargoyles is cool. From what I remember as a kid, I have attempted to rewatch it. It's not that it's cringe like Street Sharks. I love Street Sharks when I was a kid. Bought the whole series on DVD. Watched the first episode. I'm like,
yeah, it is kind of Ninja Turtle-y.
Never mind. But Gargoyles is like fairly serious.
Yeah, it's like dark. There's guns and fire and like death.
Right.
And
See,
blood.
that was a show that informed me as a child, like my perspective. I like darker stuff. I like more mature tones. Also, Spawn cartoon and the cartoon films were stuff I watched as a kid, even though that's probably way too mature for me at being like 7 and 8. But my dad always wasn't like sex. I could watch whatever I want, and that's kind of how I am as well.
I don't know. It's just like it's because it's a Disney thing. It's like
surprising.
It's dark and it's surprising and good. And I'm like, that is like they need to do that again. Like, go back to these roots, you know.
Well, I think they're playing in like that show is playing into like more leaning into like probably middle school kids that want something more meatier. Than,
probably.
Dalmatians
it's like
and crap.
I mean, the fact that it was like he's like. The humans believe this, we believe this, and then he gets betrayed by humans, and he's like, yeah, I'm not going to trust humans. So it's going to be like, people will have to work at earning his trust. And it's like, okay, that's good. And they can be killed. They're not invincible. There's only a few of them left. It's like, I kind of like the little concept here.
So, when I was a kid, I was obsessed with gargoyles, and I don't recall this myself, but apparently when I was a kid in the store, I told this guy he looked like a gargoyle, which I'm very certain that was a compliment.
Oh, but he took it as an insult.
I don't know. I don't remember it, but this is what I've been told I said as a kid to a stranger. And I know that was a compliment, but of course, my mom being a wacko Christian, gargoyles are like devils on churches.
Yeah, so say like your mom was like, those are evil, like ugly and gross. They're the Ghostbusters Zool things of like weird monsters or some shit. It's
God, not Ghostbusters. God damn it!
I was doing that to bolster your point. Like,
why did you say that name?
And you not have a clip of why'd you say that name?
Yeah. Oh, but yeah, no, it's funny. So just sidebar, I saw Transformers Rise of the Beast yesterday, and so telling Rookie about the plot and stuff, and it's essentially a Galactus plot, and it's just like irritating because I'm watching this and it's like I'm not aware if Bumblebee is a reboot start to a new series or if it's supposed to be a prequel. Apparently it's a prequel to Bayformers. So it's part of the continuity, and this is a sequel, essentially, or prequel, if you will. It's in between Bumblebee and the Transformers movies. But given how bombastic the plot is with the stakes of the world, it's like, wait, how? Going back watching Transformers, like, wait. Sure, there might be secret government stuff that knows about Transformers, but it's like, how does like not everyone know about, in some form or fashion, about alien life now with like what's happening in this movie? So that's irritating. It's funny because I saw that yesterday, and today I seen The Flash, and one of the writers for both of them is our friend from Obi-Wan Kenobi series, Joby Harold, who clearly doesn't know anything about Star Wars, given what
the next House of Dragons. Say he's gonna join somehow. He's gonna fuck it all up. He's gonna ruin everything we love.
I was surprised Christina Hodson, who did I think she was the director, if I'm not mistaken, of Birds of Prey, which I think has its redeeming qualities, but it's definitely a mess from what people would want for a sequel to Suicide Squad. But yeah, it's surprising these people being tied to this film. Yeah, so the Flash, like we were talking with Raster, it's essentially the main points are Flashpoint. If you know that story, it's pretty iconic for the Flash. It's kind of the go-to story to, for Flash. But yeah, his film starts out. Barry's got to go to work, but he's running late. He's hungry because his metabolism, because he's the Flash, burns lots of calories. And this guy is just like taking his sweet ass time. And then, Batman's calling. He needs help with something in Gotham. So Barry's run from Central City over to Gotham on an empty stomach. And he's got some sort of I don't know if it's a blood sugar detector or what, but he's got some sort of hey, you're low on energy. And so he's running on fumes. And the hospital, from some criminal activity, blew a bomb or some shit. So the foundation of the hospital is caving, and the section of the hospital we see is a baby ward with babies in the little plastic crib things on wheels. And there's a nurse there. She can't get out. And that side of the building starts collapsing. And so they have a Quicksilver setup of he's seeing everything in slow-mo. And so babies are literally flying out, including the nurse, flying out of these broken windows. And Flash is kind of like Spider-Man 3 when he saves Gwen Stacy, when he's flying through all the debris to catch people. Kind of alludes to that. And that's not a bad thing to have some sort of homage to a non-DC thing, but it's horribly done. Whatever comedic gag they're going for with this, it's just way too long, and it's also intercut with Batman just being brutal and fucking wrecking cars more than they already were wrecked by criminals with their Humvee. So it's kind of jarring tonally. It's ha ha ha, this is kind of funny, and then bam, Batman's got a fucking shovel tip that pops out of the front of his bike to bust through cars, and it's wow, if the wreck didn't hurt or kill people, maybe Batman did. That's a little funny given what Batman's supposed to be. But yeah, his baby's falling, and you think, baby's falling, it can't get any worse. But there's a therapy dog also falling, and that's the cherry on top to make you, I guess, care. It's I feel like the dog should have been maybe the start, and then no, babies, fuck. But no, the dog isn't, and it's fuck you. I hate this dog love bullshit everyone has today. Stop with this John Wick shit. Anyway, because Flash can't just grab babies Speed Force, so he has to tip them the right way as to not kill them with his speed. And so it's because the whole side of the building's falling, there's scalpels that are going to hit babies and acid, and so he jumps to save a baby, you think, but actually he goes past the baby and punches open a vending machine to speed eat, replenish his energy, which is that can be comedic. But then he runs to a falling microwave, and there's a burrito, and it's he's gonna eat the burrito. No, he throws the burrito, and you're what? And the burrito hits the scalpels, going to hit one baby, and then a bedpan catches the acid, it's going to hit another baby, and then I guess an oxygen tank is catching on fire, so he turns
God,
it up.
I hate this scene already.
Away.
Fucking A, I hate this scene already.
While Batman is also doing his chase.
I haven't seen it, but it sounds like hell. I don't like it. I don't want to see it.
It is a visual eyesore, and it goes on way too long.
Sounds worse than the wiener scene in the Snyder Cut.
Oh, worse than the Sesame Seed.
Ugh.
But yeah, Batfleck's there, and then he stops the bad guys. Bad guys got some MacGuffin that if it gets in the water, it'll kill half the people in Gotham, which I don't understand. They're not drinking out of the river directly. Don't you have a filtration system for your water supply?
I will kill half the people in Gotham.
Yeah. Batman's grapple gun doesn't work. after he shoots it, it won't repel back up. So, oh no, I'm about to drop the guy. It's got the stuff's gonna fall in the water, and then Wonder Woman lassos them up,
Flies
and
in.
saves. Yeah, she literally flew in, lassoed them, and then flew away after there was an awkward Batman's stuck on the lasso and he won't quit talking and saying his truths about this ego is just a cover up because of my dead parents and my fractured ego, and then Barry tries to help him and tie, and he's like, something, I'm a virgin. And it's just like, that's supposed to be funny, I guess. But it's just like, given how annoying Ezra's like Marty McFly attempt like Spider-Man is, it's fucking annoying. But yeah, so once you get back to normal, his dad's who is, gone to prison for murdering the mother, even though he didn't. He's the only guy that evidence points to. Bruce Wayne recovered the footage from the store where the dad his alibi was that he was at the store when his mom got killed. But they don't see his face, so it doesn't give him parole or, work as an appeal. And so it's like, you assume his dad's just going to stay in prison, but Barry's like, oh, well, like, that's the thing. That's the memory. Like, the whole thing happened because my mom forgot a can of tomatoes for the recipe. So if I go back to the store back in time, put the extra can in, then like the whole timeline will change. My mom won't die because my dad will be there. They never explain who killed the mom, which I guess could be the future.
It's typically reverse
or whatever.
It's typically Reverse Flash that kills
right. Him. Yeah, and so that's never actually addressed. We got Shell back in the house.
Shirley, what's up?
Oh. Hello.
Hey, talking. If you don't want to hear spoilers,
I went the wrong way.
Oh, you clicked the wrong link.
I can't stay. Sorry.
Yeah.
Hi everybody. Hi everybody.
Hey.
And bye. No, you're cool. Yeah. Anyway, freaking. I was saying
talking about how the credits were about
canned
to roll
tomatoes. Canned tomatoes. Did you say credit roll?
Yeah, the credits were rolling and the movie was over, and it's time to talk about something else.
Yeah, so he figures out to go fast enough back in time, and visually, I don't know if it's accurate to the comics, but visually, him going back in time, it looks so fucking bad. Like, it's like he's in like a stadium of scenes of his life. So every time he's like, the further he's running, it's like the levels keep going under his feet and there's like new levels that are coming up. And so he like peers in and does the thing, puts the can in the cart. And so then like his mom never gets killed because the dad's there, which I don't know why that would stop the assailant in the first place, but whatever. But yeah, so he sees once he fixes this, he sees all these scenes of his life of like, oh, my 10th birthday, my 18th birthday, yada yada. And so then he like pops up and there's like I guess an attempt at a comedic gag, like he steals old people's clothes walking on the street with his speed, and walks in the house wearing like an old man's pants and an old lady's shirt sweater thing. It's like flowery and
his casual attire on a normal day. Yeah.
Right. But yeah, he does that, and they're like, oh, you cut your hair, because like he's supposed to be in college, so he lives like, I guess, in the city, Central City direct, and so he's visiting to do his laundry, so they're, cool, you're here. They're not surprised, but it's like, wow, you look different, you cut your hair. But then while he's having dinner, that timeline, Barry's coming home, and so he has to like stop himself. So he's like, hey, like, I've come back. I had to fix something. I can't tell you because it'll undo what I've done. So just be cool. And, oh, what's today? Fuck, you got to go get your powers. So then I'll have gotten my powers. And so he like sets him up to get electrocuted like he does with the chemicals. But because he's fighting getting electrocuted, current Barry gets electrocuted, as well as the other guy, but doing that for some reason gets rid of his powers, and now they're in younger Barry, like they're supposed to be, but now he can't get back to the future current timeline. And so now it's like, fuck it, how do I get my power? So, let me try to find other Justice League people. And no one's here. Cyborg hasn't become Cyborg yet. Aquaman's dad married some Landwell.
No Starfire, unfortunately.
Oh, yeah. There's no so he's like, Bruce Wayne, Batman's real. So he looks up Bruce Wayne, but then it's Keaton Batman. And because they essentially broke into his house, even though he left it open, he like fucking kung fu's their ass. And younger Barry has the Speed Force, and so he's like dodging all this shit while current Barry is getting his ass kicked because he's just regular now and no actual like fighting skills. And then it's like, oh, you're Bruce Wayne. So then it's like they're talking, and they through him explain like I guess Keaton Batman is aware of these theoretical science ideas of time travel and multiple timelines and stuff, and so he uses spaghetti to explain to the audience these fulcrum points and parallel timelines and shit, whatever. So looking for Superman now, and Batman, even though he hasn't been Batman for, you're assuming, like 20 years, because the city's pretty safe now. Whatever, I don't gotta be Batman. He's just been living in his
need
like
Batwoman to save the
he's just
day.
been living in his dilapidated mansion. Yeah, he I guess has a backdoor access to like NASA records or shit, and so they're trying to figure out where Clark Kent is because Zod has popped up. So it's like 2013 again. Zod's popped up. We're going to terraform the planet, and so like, we need Superman to stop him. And then you find out young Barry, after he got his powers, was at Gotham or Metropolis saving some people, and with like a crappy kind of like Spider-Man 1 wrestling suit. And had a traumatic event because that's like the first time someone died in front of him, I guess, besides his mom. So that's like nice little touch of like, you kind of get some actual backstory without the classic origin stuff. It's like a way to tell his origin through his younger self. So that's kind of a nice little deviation from the norm of superhero stuff. Yeah, they got stuff. So they're looking for Superman, and it turns out what they find is Kara-El, if I'm not mistaken, Supergirl, and she goes ham, kills all these Russians, and they take her back to Gotham Mansion, and she recovers, puts on her suit, and holy shit, say what about the race swap, but man, she got some big fucking titties for her size. They really show them off in this movie, and I appreciate that, not just because I'm a guy and I like titties, but because of the current state of entertainment. They're always desexualizing women. Somehow being a powerful woman means you're a man and have no features that are feminine. And they don't hide her features in this film. So that was nice. It's a nice little aesthetic touch. Very true to the ideal God image of DC Comics. So I appreciate that on its own. She did fine. She pretty much had a limited role. She was just there to fight Zod and to fly Barry up in the sky to get electrocuted to get his powers back. So that's fine. Keaton Batman, I don't know how the original Batman fans are going to feel about it. I thought he did fine. I'm not head over heels for 89 Batman, so I'm just kind of like, yeah, cool, there's a Batman, but I'm a Dark Knight guy, so whatever. Batfleck, he looks so out of place in this movie. And it's like, yeah, just fucking put this to rest. Why is he even here? He should have just been Flash by himself, but whatever. This is clearly a film that was started to be made during the Snyder crap was still in play. And I'm assuming if Justice League did real numbers on HBO, they would have been like, oh, well, there is a market to keep doing this crap of Snyder Cut. But
thank God that didn't happen.
I mean, at least there's like a consistent tone. Now it's just like, what is DC movies? Because you got Elseworlds, so like the Batman and Joker, and then whatever the fuck they're doing, the Suicide Squad is kind of still stuck being a Snyder era film.
I feel like they never had an idea, even with Snyder stuff, because they still made other ones that were different. They tried to make Aquaman more funny, and they've always had weird tones.
Wonder Woman 84. You see how that went.
When they only have a couple of films that are in a certain tone and the majority aren't, like, I don't know. Like, it's still weird.
this is why this is a necessary film to like. All right, we got people on contract still, and we got new ownership. What do people want? This is kind of a have your cake eat it too film for DC to just they can bullshit their way any way they want, which I think is a good like. It's one of these studio things where it's like, well, we can't just like restart again and go straight clean, even though they kind of are with James Gunn.
Well,
but...
why can't they?
Wait.
Legitimately, what's the
rule?
No,
sorry, I was
can't
laughing
do
at
it.
Stoney's comment. He says, for something called the Flash, there is an alarming lack of flashing. Yeah. Well, there was a few nudie scenes. Because young Flash,
butts in the scene or something.
Right, young Flash, he gets electrocuted. They go home, and it's like, oh, I got the powers there. So he's like, woo, and he like. They say Speedy Gonzalez, but the way he like gets ready to like run on one leg, like he hikes one leg up, it reminded me of The Mask when he's like about to like take off and be wacky. He did like that pose, and I'm like, Speedy Gonzalez. I don't remember him ever like posing like that before he ran, but whatever. I might have missed a cartoon. I don't know. Yeah, what's up, Keely Chow? Thank you for being here. Yeah, Flash being wacky, he runs out the door. Oh, Jamie Lannister's in this movie for a cameo, like the actor. He's just kind of like a middle-aged hipster, and he's about to eat like a slice of pizza. Flash being hungry, because he's like, oh man, I'm feeling hungry, running so fast. Steals a piece of pizza, and then he's trying to eat it, but he's going so fast, all the pizza's like falling apart, and he's like trying to like grab a pepperoni in the air, like, hey, come back. But it's close catching fire, and then someone misses hitting him with their car, and so it's got band equipment, it bounces around, and there's like a ring of fire, and then another truck crashes, and it's got like gasoline or something. So then that shit catches on fire, knocks down a power line, knocks the power out for a second, whatever, and so he comes back home naked with a tambourine over his crotch.
All right.
You know, they were going for a Looney Tunes thing right there. And then they actually start talking the next day, and he's trying to like teach him how to be the Flash and loan him his Flash ring with his suit in it. And he's talking about like timelines or time travel or something. And he's like, "Oh, I want to do that." He's like, "No, you're not fast enough to do that yet. You just started, so like, don't worry about that." And he's like, "Oh, like Back to the Future with some random actor's name." And he's like, "No, Michael J. Fox is. What are you talking about?" And then it comes later. It's like, "Oh yeah, no, Michael J. Fox was in Footloose." And it's like, "You mean Kevin Bacon?" He's like, "Oh, Kevin Bacon. Yeah, he was Maverick in Top Gun." And so he's like changed the world in weird ways, where he's like, they still have the movies, but different. It's like just some funny little detail, I guess.
It would have been funnier if he did like, the MCU cast differences or some shit. It's like, yeah, Tom Cruise is Iron Man. Like that.
Yeah, see, that's one thing.
And Cuba Gooding Jr. is the War Machine.
Oh man, I think he went to prison for rape.
Am I thinking of the right guy?
No. Cuba Gooding Jr. I think maybe was one of these big actors that, like, his name probably came up. It's like, all right, who's a big black guy?
I mean, who was War Machine in the first Iron Man film?
Oh, you mixed up black people. Oh,
which one am I thinking of?
Terrence Howard.
What?
They all look the same.
I don't know. That guy.
Oh, you showed your whiteness.
That's the one I was thinking of, though. But yeah,
like people mix up Forrest Whitaker and Lawrence Fishburne.
Yeah, I mix up weird people sometimes. I'm like, why are those ones mixed up?
It's like, man, those are totally different actors.
I don't know why. I don't know. Anyway,
we know why. We know why.
Yeah.
Black. No, I don't know if Cuba Gooding Jr. was ever in the mix to be in the MCU, but I wouldn't doubt he would be a name that would be on a short list of legitimate actors that could be, hey, what about if we cast that guy? He's a big star, for this black role. I think it'd be cool to get Michael Jai White actually to be fucking War Machine, because he's military. So even though it's Air Force, and anyone in the military knows Air Force is like the bitch leagues, for that like state, that character, that would have been a cool.
Let's cast Pharrell Williams as War Machine.
Oh God. Wimp.
He said, you know, 95% of the universe is black.
Oh, I didn't know
It's
that.
like, oh, you mean the darkness that lacks light? I wouldn't know if I'd call that black, but okay.
Well, it's really nothing. It's just empty.
Well, yeah, it's
space
dark.
is nothing.
I mean, it's darkness because the only things we see are light. So it's like, it's just the not light part.
Yeah. Yeah. Trying to think what else. But yeah, Keaton stuff, like it was fine. He's got his bulletproof, bat cape, and they had a cool detail with the bat wing, the bat plane. When he like rolls, the cockpit stays straight and level. Now that's just a cool detail. I don't remember that in the old films, but that's something they put in this new version of that Batwing. That's a cool detail. But yeah, essentially they get everything lined up, and both Barrys got their powers, and so two Flashes, Keaton, Batman, and Supergirl got to fight Zod to stop the terraforming for Man of Steel, and it's pretty wacky. And Barry's like giving him ideas to New Barry, like, hey, we'll like do this to fight them or whatever. We can't kill them or anything, but we can slow these Kryptonians down. We're still a bit faster than them because that's our power. But it was just like,
it is.
I don't know like what I would do with this if like, all right, make this is the story. I don't know how I would visualize it, but I think they could have done something cooler. Like, it's just ugly. It's just like the desert scene from Man of Steel, but it's like all CGI. And so it's like, there's no sense of like which way is like up, down, left, or right of the scene. It's just green screen or CGI. So it's just like a headache to try to like know any stakes, what the amount of people fighting the Kryptonians. Like, it's just they can flood however many soldiers they want or lack of, or however many Kryptonians they want or lack of. It's a bit annoying, but essentially Keaton gets killed and Kara gets killed, and so both Flashes are kind of tied to each character, and so they both get the idea like, oh, let's go back in time and do the right decision for this fight to win. And so it becomes Edge of Tomorrow, and so they keep trying again and again and again. Earlier in this like Speed Force time travel spot Barry runs into, he sees like this like looks like an ice demon thing, but it turns out it's
Arnold Schwarzenegger.
younger Barry who keeps trying against fate to like change their deaths or stop their deaths and win the fight. It's like, no, you gotta, this world's gonna die, and this universe timeline is gonna die, and my mom has to die. And so it's very opposite of Spider-Verse, where Spider-Man learns that his dad's got to die, Miles Morales Spider-Man, and so he's like, no, we save everybody. So he's got to save his dad. But then, oh fuck, because the spider bit him, wrong universe. So he's in the wrong universe when he goes back home. So he's got to figure out how to get back to his universe to save his dad. That's the cliffhanger for the next film. And so that has a very opposite versus this film where it's like, this is just fate. We can't change it. Don't try. And I kind of like that more dour take of, even though this isn't a great film to like hang my hat on for that viewpoint. That was nice. And then like, once he like settles on having to change the storyline of his life with his mom and actually let her die, he goes back in time. Well, in his current time that we're at currently, like 2013, whatever, with his mom alive, he goes back to the store as himself, adult wise, and pretends to be a stranger and comment on like the cereal. She's like, oh, my son loves this. And then like he's crying. So she's like, are you okay? And blah, blah. And so he's getting to like hug his mom, and she thinks he's a stranger, but he's still having a connection. And it's like, that was played pretty straight. That got a couple of tears out. I'm like, man, he did fine for this. There's a lot for Ezra Miller juggle with this role. And so my hat's off to him. He did pretty well. You may not like him, or you may not like his version of the Flash. And I can totally agree with that, but I don't think you can deny like he definitely put out a worthwhile performance within those confines of like this is what they wanted to Flash from Snyder Cut. They're continuing it, so within that, he did fine. These kind of emotional scenes, he got it. You got the tragic hero story of can't save everybody. I think they nailed that through line. And that's pretty much it. He while he's in the store though, he looks up at the camera and realizes he can change the image or the direction of the camera, whatever. So it turns out he swaps the tomatoes on that aisle. So when his dad goes to buy the right can of tomatoes, he actually looks up in the camera's view, thus clearing his alibi of being the assailant that killed his wife, Barry's mom.
I'm surprised he hasn't been interested in trying to find the killer of his mom.
Well, that's the next movie. Like,
Oh, I mean,
actually,
like at all, like in any of the stuff. Like, yeah, he's trying to get his dad's name cleared, but he also doesn't. I mean, that's fine to not want revenge, I guess, but it seems.
I don't think it's revenge. It's just he has no direction, like to know even who the fuck did it.
I guess, but I don't know. You think when he gets the powers and all that? I mean,
I guess he assumes if the dad was there, if the guy broke in the house, whatever. Maybe they make some line about like it was probably a thief, and
well, because it's like if they didn't
it's
steal
flimsy.
anything,
It's flimsy, but it's like I get the idea. They're selling you is the dad's there, so that will scare away the assailant if he even comes with
so
the family there fully. So
you still think that there'd be an attempt at, I don't know.
Well, but again, that's for spin-off stories to do Reverse Flash.
Even if it's not, I'm not saying it has to be Reverse Flash. I'm just talking about as the character's perspective. Him, like regardless of what that it seems like.
I think the problem is there, with all this that happened, there's no evidence to pinpoint anybody.
Well, I mean, with him doing time travel stuff and going, oh yeah, my dad can be there. It's like you'd think it'd be okay. I gotta make sure I know who's gonna try to kill them because now, what if both of them got fucking killed? Like that kind of ruins his.
Well, you think he would just go back in time and actually see who came in the first place?
That's kind of my point. Is like he did nothing to try to figure out who killed the mom because if he puts it, oh, my dad's going to be there, so now she'll be safe, and then they both get killed. It's like, oh, are you fucking retarded? Like, I don't know.
Well, either way, he's lost both parents from this event because his dad is the only prints on the knife that stabbed the mom, of course, because that's his wife, and he's like, oh my god, you've been stabbed, call 911. But yeah, so he's the only one that, because he has no verifiable alibi. And the idea is that the footage, which of course probably tied to the Flash doing his time shit, the cameras are glitchy and he never turns his head to the camera. So even when Bruce Wayne uses Wayne Tech shit to enhance the footage, make it clear.
Enhance.
Whatever. Go. It's not. They're not zooming in. It's
I'm just talking about for the actions of Barry.
It's still an enhancement.
I'm just saying for the actions of Barry. Like, if your parents, I can't say yours, but if somebody's parents were gonna get killed, just one of them, you don't go, well, let me put the other one there, and then they'll be fine. Like, I just don't. I just don't get. Oh, my mom was killed in a mass shooting. If I have my dad in the same location, then they'll be fine. Like, I just don't.
Yeah, no, it's very thin.
That alone is so dumb. That's so simple, right? Like, it's not complicated, but it's like it sounds like it's entirely overlooked in the thing, and which just annoys me already.
Well, they've been working on this for years. Rick Famuyiwa was tied to write or direct this. He was a director on Mandalorian first 2 seasons. He did the jailbreak episode with Bill Burr.
Mm.
One of the best, in my opinion, of the show.
Well, yeah, the 4 out of 10. Nice, yeah.
So, hearing that, wow, that guy was associated with this film, or in talks or whatever, and that fuck, he didn't do it, and I don't know, just the CGI, it was really bad. most of the film, so that just took me out of a lot. The immersion, because it's just so yeah. Also, Matt Dillon played Barry's dad in Justice League, and in this one they've recast him with the Office Space guy, the main protagonist, and I guess he looks more relatable to Ezra Miller than Matt Dillon, but it's just like that guy, I don't know, like he didn't really have a lot in the movie, but I'm just like, damn it, you already cast someone different. Like, it adds to the lack of immersion. A little annoyance.
It'd be funny if they had Usain Bolt as his father or some
right.
shit.
Oh, okay. So he lets his mom die for the timeline stuff, whatever. But when he comes back to his current time from the start of the movie, he's like, all right, I'm back. And it's like, oh fuck, I'm late for my dad's appeal. And he goes, he's excited, and you're thinking, like, why's he excited? Like, the footage didn't clear him, but it's because he switched the tomatoes higher up. So then that is why they can clear the dad years later with cleared up footage that he was at the store and couldn't have killed his wife. And so it's like happy. Barry leaves. Iris makes him ask her out to dinner later. And then this cool ass like custom Mercedes that we've seen Batfleck hanging out with Flash before in.
Is it the same Snyder cut Iris or a different one?
Yeah. The average black chick. Yeah. Yeah, so the Mercedes comes up to the courthouse after the appeal ruling, and you think, oh, it's Batfleck, Batman. But, it turns out it's George Clooney, who was a Batman.
He's got the Bat credit card. He takes it everywhere.
I really wish they would have...
Never leaves the cave without it.
I was really anticipating that they would, like, have a scene over his shoulder where he's, like, looking in his wallet for something, and you see a smidge of, like, the Bat card.
I wish that they had, like, Arnold Schwarzenegger as the governor, but he's Mr. Freeze in something.
Oh, wow! That would have been cool!
It's Mr. Freeze, you know?
Oh, my God. Well, especially, they could have did it. They could have did it because...
I will cool down crime in Gotham.
Well, that'd been cool because you could have him cameo as just Arnold, Governor Schwarzenegger of California, because it was 2013. I think he was still governor back then.
Yes, but he's also Mr. Freeze.
You know, at that point, he's a historic, so it'd be like a little tease of like, well, that guy is Mr. Freeze, but he's also in real life a governor. You know, you could play it either way, or be like, whoa, Governor Schwarzenegger was actually the governor was Mr. Freeze the whole time.
That's what I'm saying. It's a secret identity. It's secret identity. That's the Mr. Freeze. Like, that would be fucking great.
Chill out.
Yeah. Citizens, don't have a meltdown.
Oh, God. But the fact that, like, I think Raster's really pissed off about Clooney being in this, and I'm like, I don't know what the problem is. Like, at worst, at best, that's like a guilty pleasure bad movie people have fun watching because it's so dumb and bad. Clooney himself was like crapped on himself being in that role and how he did. But yeah, I think it'd be cool because like with when the Batgirl film was being talked about like years ago, there was this idea from what Grace Randolph was hearing that it essentially be a Batgirl Beyond, and Michael Keaton would be her mentor, Bruce Wayne, like in the show.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, that's a cool kind of deviation of like, all right, it's use the Batman Beyond template, make it Batgirl, that could be a whole new story. Like, okay, I'm open to that. And I think that could still be a cool idea for George Clooney to actually play a better received, you know, kind of like Garfield in No Way Home. It's kind of opened people's eyes like, oh, you know what? He's not a bad actor. It's just those weren't great films that he starred in, but he could do well in the role. Maybe we should give him another chance. I would love to see that for Clooney, because Clooney's one of my favorite actors. Like, he always leaves a mark on the films he's on. So, yeah, I'd be cool with that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was ultimately a movie. I don't know how to rank it.
Is that the end of the movie? don't.
Yeah, that's the last scene
understand.
is the Clooney pops
Because
up,
like,
and then
like
Barry's
the movie
like,
could have ended
Barry
at any
realized like
fucking point at this point.
Barry's like, what the fuck? Like, oh man, like I'm back at the right time, but like, fuck, saving my dad screwed up something. Like, and so it leaves it totally open ended. DC can do whatever they want if they want to build off of this film. And that's why I say it's a have your cake and eat it too. We'll see how well James Gunn era of DC is received to, I guess, really find out where DC is going. But it seems like they're in the long haul with this guy. They got films planned out to, I think, like 2028 for his run on DC. So, yeah, that was the main shit from. It's Keaton dies. They keep trying to change stuff like Edge of Tomorrow, and last round that they try, he doesn't shoot the aircraft of the Kryptonians because they got shields, unless he would get shot and die. So he diverts. Barry warns, so he diverts shooting at one of the like muscle Kryptonians on the ground, and his plane gets knocked down. So then he ends up like kung fu grappling him and putting bombs on his back and on his chest and then back on his head. You think that knocks him out, but actually it's like, even during the fight, Batman's essentially mortally wounded from getting beat the fuck up because he's just Michael Keaton Batman.
Yeah.
And so he resolves to no, don't go trying to change this. Just let me die. He accepts his fate. And so it has a nice little send off. We actually get like a proper CGI aided Keaton Batman. A little preposterous that, I don't know, a 67-year-old guy would be in the role to play like this physical role, even though, yeah, it's definitely a stunt guy doing all the actual fight moves, but
I'm not only gonna punch a robber, I'm gonna punch an alien.
well, yeah, so it's 10 years, so yeah, I guess like a 60-year-old Batman, so kind of like Batman Dark Knight Returns sort of is kind of what they're alluding to, just like Dark Knight Rises alludes to, of like he's taking a long hiatus, but he's coming back as Batman. So it's fine.
Did he have his pride colors on? No. Racist.
New Flash, though, I don't know if you've seen the toy leaks from months ago, but there's, people are like, what? Fucking, this one Flash has got like a bat suit, Flash suit? What the fuck? That's a real thing. It's a real thing. Younger Flash is wearing a chopped up, repainted bat suit from Keaton. So he's like spray painted a Flash symbol over the bat symbol on his chest, and he's like cut the ears off, but he's still got like the fucking nubs on the top of his head. Because they need like, a friction resistant suit. So that material, I guess, is supposedly good enough to make a Flash running suit.
Is literal perfection. It will be when it's for a woman.
Batwoman. Oh boy. Yeah. Not the worst thing, as messy as it is, it's not like Ant-Man Quantumanium. Haven't even seen Eternals. It's that bad. I won't watch it.
Shazam, Black Adam?
Better than Black Adam. I think Black Adam, there's angles of Black Adam, like I told you, I'm like, this is getting crap, and I don't think it's justified. I think that's actually, playing it this way was totally fine. It's just not a good movie, not a good character. We have a fucking Superman character, and he's just trying to be an anti-hero, and you don't really know what his standings is, and he has nothing to lose. It's like, it's not that's why the Punisher is good, because it's like he has nothing to lose anymore. He just has a memory to fight for in honor of, but he's still a guy that gets hurt, has to like lay out for weeks at a time if he gets his ass kicked or shot. When you have like a Frank Castle type character that is Superman powered, like what's the point? What's the stakes? Character like that is meant to be a foil to other heroes, even if they are like gray and not the black hat in the story. That's why Daredevil works great with Punisher as a foil, because they're both seeking justice, but it's like, well, you're too brutalistic, Punisher.
Yep, naughty.
Yeah, Shazam, like, it's fine for the comedy it goes for. I don't like comedy generally, so whatever. I'm not the best judge of that element of that film, but I get the appeal of that film template. Not for me, for sure. And definitely some stupid universe stuff, like the whole selling merchandise of these heroes. They carry on in Black Adam, which is like, what the? I get no indication of this universe that people want to buy merch of like these vigilantes and fucking potential terrors to the planet. How many people in the world would think what happens in Aquaman with like I can't remember the name of his brother opponent in Aquaman, but he like throws up all this like trash and causes like some like coastal tidal waves to say fuck like the land dwellers, humans. And it's like, how many people are going to think, oh yeah, Aquaman did all that terror to humanity?
Right.
People mistake Captain Marvel and Captain America. Like, well, I thought Captain America was a guy. And it's like, no, this is Captain Marvel. So it's like, people confuse that. People confuse Star Wars movies where they fit in the timeline. So it's just having people sell merch of these in the world, having posters of these heroes. Like, I don't. Do you watch Man of Steel, especially when he throws a fucking drone at a general's feet and saying like, "You're just gonna have to deal with me"?
What we need? We need to make a toy of that.
And people are like, you know what? Yeah, I think kids are going to want a poster of that guy.
Well, and who gets copyright ownership? Who manufactures?
Well, that's the thing.
Stuff?
I think that would it'd be whoever grabbed it first, or it'd just be open domain.
Well, no, I mean, what if one grabbed Superman and one grabbed another one for? You know what I mean? Like what? I feel like
no, it's all the same company. Yeah. They copyright all these heroes.
There's only one rich company in the DC world. except for the Bruce one, the Lex one, probably a few other ones, Arrow, and whatever. Shut up.
Yeah,
a lot of billionaires in DC.
When you watch Iron Man 2, it's like, well, yeah, this guy has killed terrorists. And he became this guy being attacked by terrorists with his own fucking weapons. And he stands for a beacon of peace. He's like Times Person of the Year, in Iron Man 2. So, and he gets pinned for all of the private citizenship, valor that he's undertaken being a peacekeeper now for the US and the world. That's established. So it makes sense when he makes an expo and people know he's Iron Man. It's like, hey, I'm wearing an Iron Man hat because he's cool. He saves people,
Well, he's a ladies'
he
man
stopped producing. He stopped producing weapons with this company.
Even without the Iron Man stuff, he's like an exemplary model for like men in general.
He's a playboy, philanthropist, billionaire.
That's what I'm
he's Elon Musk.
He's got cars, he's got chicks, he's got the money, and then on top of that,
he's a womanizer.
And on top of that, he becomes a superhero. So it's like
he's an intelligent womanizer with billions of dollars. So yeah, like just as a guy, people be like, yeah, this guy's cool. He'd be like a Hugh Hefner in real life, or people love memeing Elon Musk as a cool autist or something. So, exactly. Like, even without the Iron Man, people would want to, LARP and cosplay as that guy in life, follow his image. So then he gets a suit. Yeah, exactly. Like just him alone in his own world, it makes logic that people would buy. And also, he's like opening a Disneyland expo thing. So it's like, hey, get your merch. Yeah. Oh, Batman brands people, and that's like a mark that criminals will murder them in prison. Yeah, I got an official replica Batarang from the guy that brands people to get murdered when they've been sentenced by society for their crimes for a set term period of time. But no, murder, that's, yeah.
This Batarang was stuck in the criminal's kidney.
Yeah, like
this bullet was recovered, or this is a cup of ashes from the people that were set on fire from the thing he blew up to try to
people might try to justify Snyder verse Batman, like in BVS, where it's like, well, that first scene when you see him, he's freeing, human trafficked people from their
Is that what the
captivity.
scene was? I didn't even
Yeah,
interpret it
they're
like
human
that at
traffic
all.
victims that he's
Didn't even
freeing,
interpret
but
it like
also he's brutalizing cops that could do that already
Yeah, I was
and are
like,
on the scene.
I was just like, I don't remember the scene because we haven't watched it in a while. I don't think I haven't seen it in a while anyway. It's like he's in the corner and I guess he beat up the bad guys, but like I had no idea what the fuck was going
He's
on
hiding
there.
out, and then the cops see him, and they're like, bang, 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 because
Yeah, you compare that.
all they know, he might be in on it. This is like his.
Well, he's like a monster as far as I know, and then it's like
there's all this mythology. Like, is he a vampire?
You look at the Nolan one, the lights go out in the thing. He's like, "Get ready for this, son." He's like, "Yeah, we got."
Yeah, no, it's like the
here.
cops in Dark Knight universe is like, someone like, yeah, I want to catch this guy. He's a vigilante, but it's like others see him in action, and they're like, no, this guy, yeah, no, he's like, if anything, he saved the SWAT team in Dark Knight. They were going to get ambushed by the quote unquote doctors because they swapped the disguises with the actual doctors they had captive and put guns in their hands with tape. So they literally can't put their hands up.
Yes.
Like, he saved a lot of people, and once they do their investigation, be like, oh wow, we almost killed civilians, hostages. They would have to concede, even if Batman's a criminal for not going through the proper chains of society, he did a net positive. Like, they would have to concede that from the investigation for people like, yeah, I'm a witness and a victim of this crime as a hostage, and I was set up to.
Wait, hold on. Even more so with the Batfleck one. How does he get the time to like heat up his bat poker brand thing and then brand the people, or does he do it later?
Well, when he sees Lex and he's in his jail cell, you actually see the brand on his hand. It's like a little attachment on his hand or something, and he fucking
Doesn't he
fakes out
there on the
Luther, and
spot?
he punches the wall and leaves that mark. And that's his brand. But you see it in the paper, another bat branding, and that guy that's bat branded gets fucking murdered in jail, and that's what Clark Kent's investigating. So that adds to the layers of why Batman and Superman would not like each other in this, what will become a duel orchestrated by Lex Luthor, is that they are conceptually at odds about justice.
Yeah.
So, yeah, there's, aside from the Martha thing and Luthor setting all this up, there's just like that duel of perspective.
Yep.
Wait. Admit that the government after. Wait, are you talking about the Dark Knight with the? I was saying the investigation with the SWAT guys and stuff. Hold on. Sorry, I got the headphones on. I'm talking to you, but then I'm hearing all this like behind me. What the fuck is? And it's just like it's raining really hard right now.
Go,
because I have a back door that I'm right by in this office. So I'm like, what the fuck? Do I need to go get my gun? That's in my fucking. That's my nightstand.
You got a ghost in your house.
Blam. Not anymore.
Yeah, bullets kill ghosts, of course.
Well, no, it's not that the government would pony up, but like there would just be too many witnesses and victims that survived that, they would figure out, well, what the fuck happened? How did the Batman take out a whole SWAT team? There would be the investigation for that after the fact, even though, well, the day save, it's like there's all this crap you got to clear up afterwards. It's like when cops, they got to do their fucking paperwork after whatever crimes, So
that's why I like Hot Fuzz in a way, because he likes doing the paperwork after. He just like, yeah, no problem, I'll do the thing, and it's like takes it as seriously as the action part.
So I try to watch Hot Fuzz. I really hate Simon Pegg, so it's grating, and it's British, so it's like doubly just grating. It's arguably just telling me like this is the film with these factors. It's arguably worse than Ghostbusters, just conceptually to me. That's how bad it is for me. But I like
Then
Shaun
you are
the Dead.
lost.
I like Shaun of the Dead despite Simon Pegg and being British, but yeah, at some point I guess I'll fucking actually power through Hot Fuzz. But I've tried to, and I'm just like, I got some. I need to go look at my ceiling when I lay down. Like
Oh my
that's more
God.
important. You know what I mean? Like
Not with Hot Fuzz. I don't know what you mean. No.
the good guys were the government at Waco. Wait, who thinks that? Oh, you know what? People, because Koresh was a fucking, Christian cult, so that might be there might be a religious skewing to that specific instance when you hear people say the cops are the good guys at Waco. I haven't really dug in deep. I know the event, but I don't know the depths of it, of that fiasco. But yeah, I don't know. I think it's 0-sum game. It's like, it's too bad there wasn't a real shootout and, took care of some cops and the cult at the same time,
And they
It's like
should've
people
rewrote-
like
they
people
should've
see
wrote the
BLM,
battle
they're
plan.
like, they have this like knee jerk, like, I'm for the cops. 'Cause I don't like BLM. It's like, I hope they take care of each other. Fuck them both. Like, I'm going to call the cops when there's a crime or I need rescue. I'm going to call 911. Yeah, it's public service. It's part of our society. But I don't like them. Don't like cops. Cops are pieces of shit, generally speaking. There's a culture that police force should not be the same as military. There should not be an easy back and forth transfer of military personnel and police force. There's a lot of similarities. I understand. We probably will never avoid the crossover left and right of cops and military. But like being in the military, you kind of disdain the citizenry that you are supposed to be a protector of. It's like, oh, civilians. Like, that's an insult, because they're
Civilian
lesser.
youths.
Because it's like, essentially you're a Spartan and anyone not a Spartan is a fucking helot. So like so when you make cops that way, it's a real problem. Because it's day to day, it's not just like conceptually, yeah, we protect the people. Like, I don't deal with the people. I'm trying to go to war. It's different. I'm gonna go kill foreigners. Theoretically, yeah, I don't know. So yeah, I got a problem just conceptually with police in this country. I went to war. I had more rules to engage enemy combatants in a war zone than cops do pulling guns on citizens. So like, just that really bothers me. Like, it's more scary to be in America if a cop pulls you over than it is to be in war. That should not be a thing.
Yeah.
So if anyone hears me like, oh yeah, let cops and BLM, like, they're essentially both gangs. Let them take care of each other. It might take you aback. Like, and this informs you my perspective. If I get pulled over for a ticket or something or speeding, like, I'm kind of scared, not because I'm black, but just because I'm a citizen and he has a badge and a gun. And also I have a gun now. And if I inform him, I might just fucking like achoo. And they're like, he's got a gun. Bam, bam, bam. Like,
Yeah.
you see that guy, like, even if that guy was a criminal or had a history to make them like weary pulling him over when they run his plates. There's that guy, I think Minnesota somewhere, I think, not George Kirby Floyd, but just they pulled him over for whatever, taillight or speeding. And he had his fucking like 3-year-old baby in the back seat, and they fucking shot him for something stupid. I think it was a misunderstanding. I get you're under a lot of stress because that's, again, it's a culture thing. You don't train cops to be a military force. You should train them like fucking Andy Griffith. They should be this kind of noble shepherd of the people. So fuck cops. I don't care how many good ones there are at its core. All cops are bastards. Like, yeah, it's kind of ridiculous. I get I'm overstating, I'm overgeneralizing. But at the core, there's like a real problem across the board with the police force of America. I don't want them like Britain. I don't want them out weapons to protect people, but like how they're trained and the culture within, you can't militarize the police force and think they have the people's interest in mind. We've trained them to be like phase one of like the Gestapo and George Kirby, the citizenry.
Mm-hmm.
So I get shot at, you have signed up to get shot at. You shouldn't be freaking the fuck out if someone breathes at you. Good
Yep.
commentary, Stony. How do you feel about cops, Ricky?
I've had good interactions so far, so not
You had
bad.
a few cavity searches that
I am white, so
popped off, so to
I
speak.
am white, as you know, so my privilege is quite strong, and it's all
Well,
been
see,
pretty
it's
good
funny
and
'cause
dandy with me. So.
with color, yeah, because like that is propaganda. There's this F slur, we'll say a Fig Newton I worked with when I worked at DHL, um, in a warehouse, and this guy would try to talk to me about because it's like the BLM stuff, the China virus is all kicking off. I think this is before George Kirby actually, and he had this sentiment of like I think we are talking real world stuff, and I was saying like I don't know, mixed race. Like I don't have a side. I don't really think black or white. I'm just American. This is the land I live in. The borders. I'm American. I'm Ohioan, Oklahoma, whatever. And so I don't go about viewing police interactions like, oh no, I'm black. It's going to be bad for me. I think, oh, I infracted this rule or that rule, and let me get my punishment, give me my ticket or give me my warning. And I got my hands on the wheel. I usually take my keys out, put them on the dash, whatever, to make them feel at ease, not escalate the situation, and act accordingly. But he's trying to say, oh no, you're black. You're black to a cop. Doesn't matter if you're mixed or, whatever. But then there was that joke that the white guy was talking about. I had no idea, but he's saying like black people hate mayonnaise or something. I'm like, what? I've never heard this. I'm like, I know chicken, I know watermelon. Never heard this mayo thing. What are you talking about? And it was from Undercover Brother, but I'm like, hey, other black guy at work, do you know this joke? Have you ever heard this stereotype? And this guy fucking tattles on me and the guy to our bosses about racisms or something. And the white guy was in there, and apparently he said like, oh, or he's like, well, what the fuck? Like Angus is black, and he's like, he ain't black, he's mixed. And it's like, oh. So when it's about cops, I'm black, but because I'm a Trumper, I'm not black now. Otherwise, it's like, fuck you. So
You're not a pure blood.
yeah,
Pure
I'm
blood.
I'm not. Yeah, I guess I'm a mudblood. I'm not a muggle, but I'm mudblood. Yeah. All right, aren't mudbloods muggle?
I don't remember. I don't know. I don't know this.
I feel
lore.
mudblood. I feel mudblood's the insult for Hermione because she's born of no lineage. She's just miraculous. Mutate. So wait, is wizardry a mutation?
I don't want to talk about Harry Potter.
Yeah, you do.
Not at all.
It's your favorite franchise.
I'm no.
You love Harry Potter, especially the later films. Especially
I
Fantastic Beasts with our hero Johnny Depp, who is not part of Pedowood.
No.
Hey, Stoney, are you going or have you seen The Flash? Let me know. But yeah, but now for real, what have been your interactions or perspectives on cops? Have they changed over the years? Are you a bit more cynical?
I mean, I don't know. I have no reason to really think about it, I guess. Like when I was younger, or when I was like sophomore in high school, I think there's like a car that rushed in front of us and there was a cop behind us, and it was very weird that like, okay, the I don't know where the other car went that was in front of us that sped in front of us or something at a light. But like I was going to my class, like it's like a little bit later, and then like I get called to the principal's office to like be asked a question by the police officer. It's just like, hey, so if your mom didn't push the brakes, would you have been hit by the car? I was just like, I don't fucking know. Like it was nothing to me. Like I don't know. We didn't get hit, so what do you mean? Like, and I was under 18 or whatever, and it's just like I don't. Why you talk? You were there. You saw it yourself. Why are you talking to me? Like it was just confusing because I was like, I don't know what you want. It's like you saw it with your own eyes. What do you talking to me for? And then, so that was like my first interaction with cops. That was just weird. But ever since then, no, just like I get cops that, come and get food at Subway and they're always fine, chill, whatever. When I got held up by the white Nigerians, they responded quickly. Like they got here within, I don't know, like 6 minutes or something. So that was neat. Just helping to get interactions so far. So no, I just don't really have any super bad perspective. I mean, based on a lot of footage and cam stuff, I can see that sometimes it seems crazy, but I don't know how to judge that because of the internet and how often things get picked out over others in our video feeds. So yeah, I don't know, not much.
Yeah. No, I'm totally like I'll be objective and defend cops like that Columbus shooting. It's like LeBron James pretty much like called for a hit on that cop or cops for shooting a black girl who was about to stab a black girl.
Yeah.
Like literally the cops are on patrol, they get called to the scene and there's a fight when a girl has a knife and like the cops already like made his presence known to like this fucking little mob in this neighborhood and the girl ignores it and is mid swing with the knife when the cop rightfully reacts and pop takes care of her and somehow and saves a black girl, but somehow he's a racist. And it's like if anything, he would have shot them both. Like if he's racist, like what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, sure.
And it's wacky. So like that shit, it's like I guess I become like a back to blue guy, given the split. Nothing is nuanced, it's just a split now. You're either for the criminals or you're for the cops. And it's like, well, I mean, cops are kind of criminals too. So, well, case by case, yeah, I'll defend a cop. Like, I hate BLM, but Chauvin is a fucking murderer. Just because of like his training he should have. Like, you're supposed to be protect and serve, first responder, and you're literally kneeing a guy for 10 minutes and never notice his body go limp underneath you. And also, those other cops should be in jail too for not even looking back at me like, oh, is he doing his job or not? Like maybe the citizens are right and actually concerned for a reason.
I mean, I guess there was another interaction I had with a cop where I was in the car with my Marine buddy and we would work out 24-hour fitness quite often. And it's like, I don't know, 1 a.m. or something. And I can hear your rain from here or your thunder.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow. Yeah. Nice.
Yeah. I'm like,
I can hear that. And, there was a cop right behind us. He was gonna turn to get gas, then he changed his mind. It was like an empty intersection at like 1 a.m. in the morning, but there was a cop right behind us. So it can appear as if one is under the influence when you do a weird move like that. So he got pulled over, and then she was like, actually, like, well, we're actually looking for somebody who has a car just like this, and it's like, oh no, and I don't know. Like he gave the information and everything, and proved this wasn't the car or whatever. Because where we were at the gym and stuff. And she's like, "All right, cool." Later, didn't even give him a ticket, even though what he did driving wise would probably get him a ticket, but just let him go. So yeah, I just never had any bad interactions. So like, it's hard to personally know. Yeah, I see ones where it seems like the cops just kind of approach a dude, the dude's doing what they say, and then you get the fuck on the ground and pull their gun out and shoot at him practically. And it's like, what the hell happened there? Like, I don't know.
Yeah,
those seem unreal to me. I can't really see that being a thing in real life. Like this, I don't know.
Yeah, I think last year I got pulled over for speeding and I was doing like 50 or 55 in a 35. But it's like in a section where it's like a speed track. So the police station is like in the stretch going up towards like the mall and business strip area of this road. And so it goes from like 55 to like 35 up kind of abruptly. And so it's kind of a speed trap. And so I'm just like coasting and then like, I'm just like, I'm driving fine. I'm just faster than the speed limit, but it's like no one's in jeopardy. the cop, like, I guess spots me coming the other way and fucking like erupt. Like, as soon as he like turns into like a turn, I know he's like, fuck, he's about to like tell me and throw his lights on. But like the way he like fucking like swerved and landed, like I almost like hit my brake and like swerved because I thought like he might fucking hit me, you know. So it's like, thank you for protecting me by almost hitting my car.
I've seen that. I have seen that happen in real life, actually. Like like where there's an intersection and things are happening, and then a police car just like bulldozes through the fucking intersection, and it's like, holy fuck, you could have just caused a shit ton of accidents right now for whatever the fuck you're responding to, and you just broke a bunch of laws yourself. What the fuck is that? Like, yeah.
So like, yeah, they did that, and I know like this strip at least like where to pull over or where would be a good spot. So instead of just pulling right on the road, thinking like, oh, well, I'll be like smarter and like we like turn and then like there's a business that's closed.
He thinks you're trying to get away, huh? Some shit.
Right. Yeah, that's how he reacted. So like I'm like, okay, I'm pulling over. So like, you know, before I've like pulled into a gas station or like a Subway parking lot and turn off.
Yeah,
my car
that's what my Marine
got
buddy
my
did. He pulled into
license ready.
a parking lot instead of us on the road.
Right, because like, well, it's not like I'm on the highway where I need to be on the road on the shoulder, so I pull into a parking area right off of a perpendicular road.
And that takes you more out of the way of traffic and shit. That makes
exactly.
Sense.
And also I parked the nose of my car towards the building, so it's not like I'm in an advantageous spot to like hightail it out of there. And he's behind me. He fucking called 2 more cop cars on me to like surround me. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, I pull over, you know, park, turn off my car, and I put both hands outside of the window. And you have your car pinning me in anyway. It's like, I'm not getting it. I'm not getting what? Why is there 3 cars here? They were so horny to like catch a criminal.
They saw he was black. Fuck.
Right, exactly. I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. It's just like, what the fuck? This is what I mean. You know, they're so like cops in other countries, like in Europe, their vehicles are brightly colored because they're emergency service vehicles.
Ours are these like cars ninjas. Are
fucking they're ninja cars to hide out to catch you to like, haha, I'm gonna make money on a speeding ticket.
That is actually interesting. You'd think
this is what I mean. It's an intrinsic fucking thing. The whole system of cops is not here to protect you. They're here.
You think they'd be yellow or something, or like they stick out at
night? No, they're trying to hide and catch you for dumb shit.
They're not actually thinking about it. That actually make more sense if they were.
Most cops wear fucking black uniforms.
Well, it's like I'm trying to think about it. Like if people knew there were more cops in areas because you can see them, wouldn't that encourage them to go the proper speed limits? And shit?
No, they're trying to hide out and incriminate you.
Because it's about they get paid more based on. That's a weird system if that's the case. That's
what I mean. If I get a speeding ticket,
failing thing.
If I get a speeding ticket, it's $200, you know, and it's like I make maybe if I do enough hours, I only make like 14 to like 1600.
You can't fund the police without any criminals.
Exactly. No, this is the thing. This is what Sicario's about. Really this is what Meth Gator. It's not like a big like beat you over the head element, but like if there's any political subtext to what Meth Gator will be, it'll be about the government and the drug business. Like there's not the war on drugs. It's really a business of drugs. Like the police force and the government at large, the people in power. They don't want to stop crime because then they wouldn't have a job because they were like, wow, this is fucking going great. We should be defunding you, giving you less of a budget every year because it's safe. No, they want more money every time. Every year they got to boost the budget higher because it's a business. They're not trying to catch and stop all the drugs on the street.
They want to meet a quota of catching more.
Yeah, because then they wouldn't. They'd have less need for a job, you know.
I've never thought of it like that. I just kind of in my head I'm like, well, of course they're gonna get paid anyway because it seems like an essential thing, whether it's for like saving somebody from a cliff or hanging out of a tree or some bullshit, a building, whatever, or they're in a kind of like assisting firemen in traffic and whatever. Like, you don't even need to be looking for criminals to have something for cops to do. Like, if somebody's trying to walk home, they can escort them. I don't know. Like, I feel like there's things cops can do, even if there's no high stakes criminal shit going on. There's still things for them to do, right? Like, am I wrong here?
Yeah.
Like,
Well,
there
yeah.
need to
It's
have a
Stoney,
speeder.
Stoney says, I'm joining this war on drugs on the side of drugs. Yeah, like that's funny. And that's the thing, though. That's why I love the movie Sicario. Sicario, even though it's kind of obvious that I'll be, eluding, paying
Homaging.
homage in some way to like Breaking Bad and Dukes of Hazzard in, various ways, with meth and all that. A big like subtextual thing that I'm going for is like Sicario. That's why I get a kick when I say, yeah, Meth Gator. People think it's going to be like a comedic comment. It's like, no, not really. Like, I'm playing it straight because I don't like comedy, generally speaking. I love laughing, but I hate produced comedy.
Well, I feel like this is something I don't think a lot of people understand, is that you can create a lot of comedic moments through not trying to be funny, and
yeah,
it could still be funny by literally not trying to be funny.
Yeah, and the thing with Sicario, it's about the business of drugs, where it's like even though you haven't seen it, it's kind of spoiling for you because we want to watch it soon. But
well, actually, then not tell me. Actually, I kind of want to not know much about it.
Okay, okay, all right, I'll hold back, but it's fucking good because it's kind of like, fuck, they don't make movies like this.
Well, it's like I'm thinking about, as we're talking, it's like in most films and TV shows, the cops.
It's a very gray film about the concepts.
There seems to be dirty cops all the time. It's like, well, yeah, we're gonna let the criminals.
No, it's not that. It's not even that.
I'm not guessing that with Sicario. I'm just saying that's a common thing in movies and shows.
Yeah, Batman Begins.
It's that cops are a lot of cops want the criminals to be doing shit as part of their business. They fucking let the criminals do things, and then the cops will be able to keep on doing things or some shit. It's a weird symbiotic relationship.
Yeah, I mean, when you see this BLM shit and we've signed a law to let criminals steal up to $1,000 before we will try to apprehend them. This is to facilitate. Well, okay, that's more complex, but I think what's going on, if you're thinking logically, what would be the point of being in government and creating all this chaos? And it's like
people would want to have more police or something,
right? More control. This is very much.
Police. We need more police.
If you've seen a little film series called Star Wars, that's pretty much what's going on. Is a little
much chaos, and now
Hegelian dialectic.
We had one Naboo get taken over, and then these other planets are getting. Oh no! What can you do? Oh no! The Jedi can't save you. Oh no! Well, you need.
Yeah, it's not that. So when people talk about Illuminati or whatever, or the G20 summit stuff, or the World Health Organization, the New World Order, it's like it's not. No, this shit is not orchestrated. It is. It's not like George Kirby Floyd.
It's not. It's
random shit, and then the people in power are like, aha. That's what we can play.
They like to capitalize on. They adapt to things.
Pride shit's been going on for fucking 40, 50 years.
And in the last 5 years, it's been amplified by like 20,000.
But now it's become political. Which I guess you could argue it's been political the whole time. But with the marriage equality ruling from the Supreme Court, it's like, well, this is like a non-factor now. There's no, we're going state to state, which state recognizes your gay marriage or not. It's a federally protected right. It's not an issue anymore. States cannot discriminate your marriage, secular marriage, based on your sexuality. Case closed. It's easy peasy. Like, you won. And now it's just, you have your kind of memorial time of Pride Month now because there's no fight anymore. And, so like this argument should be null and void. You've seen Republicans, it's kind of a non-factor now. They got this libertarian, like, well, do what you want in your own bedroom, just leave me the fuck alone about it. But now it's become, the groomers, and stuff, because it's got tied with the trans. And so it's like, it's starting to pop up. You get that guy in Texas that's like lost custody of his kid. And when he can visit, he has to go along with pronouns. And if the kid wears a fucking dress because the mom, and he's got like his whole parenting control. And this is in the state of Texas, so that's the thing. If you think like you're really gonna fight this shit, these laws have happened in Texas, one of the most like red states of America, a super Trump state, and so, like Texas in its constitution can secede from the union whenever the fuck it wants and be its own republic again.
Yeah.
So none of the other states have that ability within our legal system to just whatever. I'm out. Never mind. I'm the country of Texas. You can't do that in Ohio. You can't do that in Oregon, Washington, nowhere. Texas is the only one that can do that, and they have this libtard shit going on. So like you're not safe, and like that's like one of the big impetus cases I know of. Like, well, this is a big thing, and now look where we are. The boycotts. This is all like spillage from that issue. But that was just like it's not. There's laws that help for that issue, but they never. I don't think the people in control trying to do an agenda knew this would be a viable avenue that a fraction of a percent of people arguably would be the issue to divide people on.
Yeah.
It's so infinitesimal, but now it's trendy. So yeah, I don't think they anticipated the influence of TikTok and Tumblr for this mind virus. But now it is viable and well integrated, and so this is the gears they're turning that have organically appeared. It's not orchestrated initially.
Yeah.
That's kind of my worldview about they live controllers of society.
Yeah.
It's like they're not fucking Bond villains. They're
not that smart.
Things fall in their lap. They want to do something nefarious.
They don't look for it. They'll just arrive on their lap essentially, and then oh shit, we can maybe do this. Okay.
Yeah, it's like it's always been like, all right, we're rich, so we'll just fund this thing or fund the candidate that will be our yes man for whatever, and that's for the right as well. It's both sides. It's you got to buy and pay for the politics you want.
Yep.
And yeah. But that's about all time I got for tonight. Appreciate you hanging out. Karen and Stony and Hoff popping in earlier. Rastercaster. Go over to Vets Talking. They might still be streaming, talking about The Flash. Because I'm just got out. Oh, I wanted to show this clip. It would have been way more timely earlier. Let me share it. This is Comic Chat.
This is the Flash Theater, the 7:30 show. As you can see, it's me by my lonesome. I got the whole theater to myself. Whole theater to myself. Wow.
I've seen a picture from Vets Talking as well with this same perspective.
Nice.
Hey, oh yeah, Pop Cotton said hi earlier. Oh, I don't know if you're actually sticking around or not. Yeah, Sicario is awesome. Also, Karen, having watched Rise of the Beast, me and Ricky are starting to go through the Transformers universe.
One of our next phases we're going through, even though we haven't finished, even though we still haven't finished a lot of other phases yet.
And we haven't finished this first movie either, because like I was already up late, but then also after the parent scene about the middle of the first Transformers, it's when it actually loses me. Otherwise, we were having fun, and then the parent scene just ground to a fucking halt. The momentum is filmed.
I want to have an edit of the movie with that scene removed. I think it will be literally better with it. I think so. Just having that out.
You literally just keep the part where it's like, "Oh my god, you have a hot girlfriend, cool," and they're excited, and then the glasses, and then cut.
and then the cut to Guantanamo Bay or wherever they go to, the whatever place.
Yeah. And yeah, what before the big finale, I already I'm like, I'm out. I'm going to fall asleep.
And honestly, part of it was also kind of lame when they're like showing what the Allspark does, because we see what it does, and then they're being shown that it can like turn things into robots, but it does that in the film. It does that in the film anyway. So like, I don't think we needed to have a scene where they go look at what it does in this box. It's just like I don't know. I feel like we're wasting time as we try to build to the final act, and it's like just kind of let's go.
Yeah. Well, it's weird is that movie came out. So I mean, it's being made a few years beforehand. We're just getting the finished product in 2000. So you're talking about like possibly back to like 2003 or maybe even earlier. They were working on the CGI for that movie. And it looks fucking good. It looks really good. If you think
that's like only 10 years after Jurassic Park and stuff.
15, but yeah. But it looks really good.
That's impressive as fuck.
And then I watched The Flash, and Jurassic Park looks really good, even with just a regular DVD or VHS. Like the CGI looks really good. It's very.
That's what I'm saying. Going from that to then Transformers, that's some amazing CGI.
And then you go from Transformers to 2023, The Flash, and it's like, what happened?
Where do we go wrong?
What? How do we? This is a perfect example of evolution. That evolution does not facilitate the best and brightest. It facilitates the best adapted, and somehow mediocrity is usually what.
Yeah. Avatar 2 is on. Avatar 2 is able to watch now. It's available.
Oh yeah, it's been available for a minute. But yeah,
I understand. That's an example of.
I'm waiting for the Blu-ray to come out so I can own it.
That's an example of technology used properly.
That's like one great CGI movie, and then all this MCU just visually trash, like lackluster. You see Infinity War, and you give it a few years later. You're talking about 6 years later, and it's like, okay, not everything is perfect with the CGI of Infinity War, but goddamn, it was like a high bar. And it's still pretty good, and then you see shit in the same universe years later, and it's like, how did it get worse? How does we went from like somewhat cartoony.
They have less time frames. They probably have less staff. It's like, what are you guys doing? Why?
Yeah, Tim, did you see The Flash? I'm about to get out of here, but I started the show late because I saw it. If so, before I go, what did you think of The Flash? I'm assuming you went to go see it. Big blockbuster movie.
Yeah, I did not.
Overall, I give it like a 5 out of 10. It's not horrible. It's got some redeeming qualities. The CGI really hurts the immersion for me. Like it
really it hurts my eyes.
It really stands out when CGI is not good especially for a film relying on it like this. It was laughable, some of the CGI. Especially for the close-up slow-mo shit. Fuck.
They should have just done stop motion. That'd probably be better.
I would love a Wallace and Gromit movie, or like
like I'm thinking of a stop motion Flash at like super speed. It's like, oh, that's so cute because it's like slow, but
There's a strange film I like. I've only seen it once. I own it, and it's just like you got to find the right time to watch it. Mood-wise, it's a very specific kind of emotion. It's called Anomalisa. And it's a stop motion, like, puppeteering, whatever type of film. But it's very like adult story about this guy having like a fling affair on like a business trip. So it's not like Nightmare Before Christmas or Wallace and Gromit. It's in a fucking adult movie. They have a sex scene to some extent, but it's like it's in this weird state where it's like they're like puppets or creations.
Mm-hmm.
You have to take like pictures all day to make this, but there's like a fluidity to it even still. So it's like this weird, like, all right, I know it's not real, but it's pretty convincing. And then you watch The Flash, and it's like, oh god, it's so ugly. Like, it just take me back to the Batman. Like, I love our fucking Daredevil, where it's just people with arguably laughable suits or whatever, but it's just people, and the only CGI is like, all right, we had to do this effect, and we can't actually blow people up, so that's the CGI.
The X-Men speed stuff seemed pretty decent. Don't remember that
Fuck,
standing
it's
out
really
to be.
good.
Don't remember those looking like dog shit. Like those look fine.
Well,
Those are like
the
10
second
years,
one's a
10
lot
years ago.
more. The second quick service scene in Apocalypse is a lot more CGI reliant, but it's still like fun.
I'm saying it
It's
didn't look
still
didn't look
crisp,
as.
crisp enough to
I feel like maybe a few like some of the people floating around looked a little silly, but like as far as I don't know, it didn't look as visually sore. But another issue I think is that there's so many like the people making the films have to make like 5 different versions of the film. So it's like where are all the like amount of CGI? Like it's got to be so tedious to try to, if you have to do okay, we're using these things of footage for and we're going to CGI these. Oh, but you have to make that 5 more times with these other versions or something.
That's another
like,
problem too. Is all these different cuts or arguments from corporate, and then actually we're going to do that scene. It's like, well, we did like 80% of this scene already. Now I got to revert all our efforts, and that takes long. So that's more money, or it's like it comes out crap because they have deadlines, and it's like the military where it's like they're not paying the best people; they're paying the best deal. Budget wise, they're like, all right, that's the best deal. They say they can do this amount of work in this amount of time, and so that's why you get shit like Wakanda or like the Flash. Another good comparison, I love the Spider-Man trilogy, especially the first one though. The CGI of like it looks good for the time, but at this point, 23 years later, you watch Spider-Man 1, and it's like it really stands out when he's like, so just some of the like physical motion doesn't like have the right cadence of like a real person. It stands out that way, and it's just not they don't have the capability yet to really pull it off believability. So you're like, okay, here's a CGI scene of him changing a suit and hopping on a wall before we transition to like the stunt scene sets where they're actually like on a set and doing some stuff physically. But yeah, the CGI is like that bad sometimes, like Spider-Man 1 with those chasing the guy at shot Uncle Ben, those CGI scenes. It's that bad sometimes.
Yeah.
It's like, am I watching a cartoon? That would have been better if they
Cartoons
actually
would
did
be better.
That would be better if they just like, all right, I'm doing the Speed Force, and then boom, I'm like cutting to a like comic book panel, 3D comic panel.
It's the best example is probably the quote unquote live action Lion King. That's all CGI. Like, I know I don't remember if you've seen YMS's review of it, but it's like he just does just simple scene to scene comparisons often. And he tries to do other things too, but it's like,
wait, who?
Your movie sucks.
Right.
The guy who did the Kimba video as well versus the Lion King. He did a Lion King part 1 review. That's like almost 3 hours long. He's doing a second part now, still working on it. But like, he's done a lot of research on this stuff, and it's like the Jon Favreau directed the Lion King, and he wanted to make it very, very realistic, but it's also dumb because it's a musical and copying the Lion King, so it's telling a story. It's retarded. Yeah, most people didn't know he's trying to make a documentary, and so they're like the expressions are all pretty lame. Like you don't know what they're emoting, but it's like there are pictures of like real animals that can emote without it being too fake or cheesy, and like he doesn't even do that. But it's like any scene where it's like, oh wow, my dad's dying. It just looks like the cub's like, duh. Hey, look, he's over there, huh? Like it's just like nothing. There's no.
Well, it's like it's weird because cats meow and roar, so that is a way. Like if a cat's like sad, you hear meow, or if it's like scared, it might be its eyes are really wide, its tail's twitching, its ears are pinned, its fur.
Yeah, no, it's exactly but they don't do that at all.
Like, right,
and they could, and then even like lighting doesn't use that. It's all like dull and boring. And like they're voiced, and like like when he sings, like, and you'll hear me roar. He just says like, you'll hear me roar. And in the like Lion King movies, like, you'll hear me roar. He's like trying, little kid actors trying to roar. And this one, it's all lame. My main point's about the CGI, how it's like you tried to make this.
I think they're making a Mufasa prequel.
I probably, but I don't know. I recommend watching the YMS stuff, whether it's the highlights. He has highlight videos that are uploaded, and I like seeing the editing process and his research process. But the movie itself, but his video himself is a real good breakdown comparing, like, the live action attempt compared with which is all CGI, by the way. And they said they were like, oh, we had groundbreaking stuff with our VR camera things, which makes it feel live action. But then he's like, Surf's Up, whichever movie with the penguins or something, did the same exact filming technique a long time ago and did not call it live action. So it's like, what the fuck? This is groundbreaking technology that was invented 12 years prior to your film, retard. Like, anyway, I like that video. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, Tim said, I saw it putting out a review tomorrow. Thought it was decent, very fun. Sure, the CGI is bad, gamer looking every time in Speed Force mode or land. It had heart, but too long. 6.5 out of 10. Yeah, no, like it's totally everywhere, and I think it's very clear this has been a film like 03 Hulk, which I'm not dissing 03 Hulk. I'm just aware that it was a film that was literally screenplay was handed from hand to hand to hand to hand for years. J.J. Abrams had a hand in the script. He has a credit on Hulk, even though it's not his version that they made. Ghost Rider and Green Lantern, those are other two films I know that have been, off and on the shelf, different hands. And those are all three of those films are like at best like broke even, maybe made a little money, but don't have like a loyal fan base. And you see like there's moments of like, oh well, that was good here, but then it's missing here, and it's just because it's a fucking Frankenstein screenplay. And yeah, this feels like that on top of just the CGI, and it would have been better if, I think overall the plot, and this is me just talking to Tim having come in, I think the plot's fairly fine. It's fine. It's definitely good for DC to like have this kind of reset and still have a back window to pull whatever they want out of their hat of past iterations of stuff. I thought it was very strange to include Adam West Batman of a universe of for whatever, but Nick Cage Superman being on screen I thought was cool, even though it was CGI and really bad CGI. I don't know what, like Nick Cage is alive. He takes money
He's a
for
real person.
anything. He takes
exists.
money for. He's literally been doing all these fucking movies, regardless of how good they are, to pay his debt.
I assume the agreement is if he's asked to be in a film, he will be in the film.
Pretty much, if you pay him enough, he's going to do it. And he's here to work, and I think he would really like the chance to, give any. There's a fan base, a cult fan base that wants that Superman film. And it does sound interesting. I'm not a Burton diehard or anything. Burton's fucking overrated. But I definitely was, especially seeing the Snyder cut. Like, they let that shit happen. And it does have a lot of good heart in the Man of Steel movie for certain perspectives of Superman from the comics. But it's overall, like, it's been it's the last Jedi of DC comic adaptations. It's not just a bad one, it's like divisive. And so why not have Nick Cage be, they're not going to make that original film, but yeah, I would like to see older Clark Kent, Nick Cage, see what his take on that character would be.
His name is Clark Cage.
Yeah, and some people were fucking triggered about the Christopher Reeve scene because he's dead, and there's like that clip about Reeves talking about Hollywood and sequels and making more crap instead of quality from the first films. But I don't think including CGI Christopher Reeves is like, no one's triggered that CGI Adam West Batman is in this movie. They're just triggered about Christopher Reeves, and I'm like, I don't get it. I don't get why you'd be mad. Like, his image as that character is iconic. And it is a world, like, they have comics again, like they've done 78 Superman and 89 Batman recently. This is their property. His image as that property is totally for them to use. And if anything, the family's getting money from it. So it's a win-win for everybody. I don't know. It's just some of these people get butthurt about. I'm like, you should feel happy it's included. It's not just by itself and unconnected. it has a chance to like be built on. 'Cause
Yeah.
everyone's like, man, Christopher Reeve Superman, that is Superman, and I'm like, well, look, he's here in this version of DC, and then you're triggered. It's like, what do you want? What do you? It's like the fucking Rise of Skywalker. All these fandom menace people, which I am fandom menace, I'm OG, but all these fuckers, EU freaks, cry about Disney canceled the EU, and then they make Rise of Skywalker, which like this movie is a Flashpoint movie. It pulls from the EU. It does the Dark Empire story, and then you cry about Palpatine's back. And it's like, well, why would they listen to you? What do you like? Your fans mean nothing. Your opinions mean nothing. I kind of agree with Hollywood. Don't listen to fans. Yeah, why no reverse fat Flash? We get a Savitar-esque berry. I don't know if that's a character name or if you're trying to say like, I don't know quite what you're getting at with the second part, but yeah, this is something Ricky talked about with him just hearing me talk about the movie is, as you know, Tim, he settles on shifting the tomatoes to save his father from prison time and not really changing the storyline. But even that, we get Clooney Batman, so it's changed the storyline again. So he's still got problems for the world. But yeah, it's like, all right, well, my dad's sent home and they just want you to go along with like, well, the dad's home, so no one's going to kill the mom now. And it's like, well, why would that stop someone if they're a time traveler? You know? And also, why wouldn't Barry just sit back further in time and see who the criminal was? And that could give him an angle to save his dad from prison even earlier.
Well, my point was that he thinks, okay, somebody killed his mother. And then he's like, I'll put my father there. And that means that neither of them will die. And I'm like, or both of them could die.
Yeah.
So why not try to figure out who tried to kill them in the first place? Would be probably the best bet. I mean, maybe the guy that killed her or girl, whatever, like used a knife because okay, it was one woman. You got the jump. Okay, but they could have had a gun. Okay, there's two people in the house. I have my gun ready now, and then I shoot them both. Like,
or
you know, like it just.
Or get this, he uses a second knife.
Yes. Hey, once he uses his one knife, that's used up now. So now he has his backup knife for if he needs another one.
My bata knife.
Yes. Backup knife.
Like
yes.
Batarang, yeah.
Yes. But it's just
Just
like
imagine, rookie, imagine you're like thinking logically and you're sitting down with Hollywood execs pitching this story and they're starting to pick it apart. Like the pitch me, like, all right. So, like, wait. If both parents are there, he's only got one knife. It's like, well, get this. He's got a second knife. And they're like, oh, no way. Like, this is like, they're fucking retards. Like, they would never think of a second knife. You are James Cameron to these people with just this simple logic.
Yeah, but it's like, to me, it's just, I wouldn't be able to get that out of my head. But I'd be like, Barry, you're retarded. You just killed your dad and mom.
Right. This is why I'm a movie guy, not a comic guy, because me making Meth Gator, I think movie-wise plot holes. So like you can not like shit, but like, you know, especially with this ISOM controversy and veto, and everyone's starting to kind of voice like either, you know, they kind of show the proof in the pudding of like, yeah, I'm excited to buy a thing, and it's like, well, because it's not woke. And it's like, but what do you like about it? And you never hear what people like about ISOM, or it's just like so surface level, you know, of like, well, he's a guy and he's a superhero. And it's like, okay, but like, why is he a cool character? You don't hear shit. It's just people cozying up to a successful selling comic, not that it's a good comic. I haven't finished it, so I can't fully say, but so far what I've read, I'm like, fuck, this is not good.
Yeah.
But you know, so like I could, when I make Myth Gator, there's probably gonna be rookie mistake shit, and it's like, oh fuck, oh man, I wrote it this way and I left no complexity, it's so simple, and I got like roasted because it's paper thin or whatever, you know. And it's like, yeah, that's like a novice rookie thing. Like I have that shield, if you will, but I'll take the heat for that. Whatever shortcomings. But plot wise, plot hole, like I'm not writing stupid shit like this. You know, it's like there's this like to even conceptualize Meth Gator, Tim. It was I had the image because I heard about the video Red Gaze did about this news article about Meth Gator tweet by like Tennessee cops because of a drug bust. And I instantly had like imagery of Meth Gator in my head, but I couldn't figure out like, well, what's the story? How does he become Meth Gator if he's turned because of radioactive meth? Why aren't the meth heads smoking it turning themselves? And so like that's just a logical problem. And that is an element that will be addressed in book one loosely. It'll be more build up for the whole backstory to the meth and why it's important and an element throughout the story. But like this is it's like the job thing, What is Meth Gator's? How is he getting by? Well, they make moonshine. Easy peasy.
Lemonade stand.
Right. Essentially, yeah. It's like, yeah, it might be silly that a anthropomorphic crippled raccoon and a big alligator man are selling moonshine, but it's like, well, this is the silly part of comics. This is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, where it's like no one's crying about Raphael walking the streets at night in a derby hat and a trench coat
Or
as a
the thing
disguise.
or whatever. It all makes sense.
There is some suspension of belief at the start of reading this fantastical sci-fi story.
Well, having
that's one of those. That's one of those where I'm like,
that's
I don't take
ridiculous.
it too serious.
Yeah.
But the actual impetus, the mechanism, and how it's working, I put the thought in before I ever tried to even make Meth Gator thing. Because before it's just like, that's a cool image, but what's the how does he get to be Meth Gator? Like, what's the logic? So that's what's really irritating is like these people are being paid hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars to write and direct this shit, and they're making slop, and they're getting rewarded for it. And I'm like, I don't know, man. If I was in an English class or a writing class, I feel like I would get like at best a C for writing this shit. I could pass by, but I'm not getting any accolades. I don't know why these people aren't reaching for the stars with like Oscar-worthy material. You look at like they took Batman, the template of a rich kid gets his parents gunned down, and so this changes his whole psyche, and he devotes himself somewhat positively in a tragic way because it's obsessive compulsive and a messiah complex, but he devotes himself to be mind, body, and soul an agent against crime, and it's kind of violently therapeutic for himself as well, and after that you can do whatever you want. You've seen 80 years of storytelling with that basic template, and you've seen the very grounded storytelling or the very fantastical, throwing them in with really playing with the like, well, he's kind of nobody but money, and you got fucking Martian Manhunter and Green Lantern on the team with the money guy, or it's like, no, this is the leader. You can do whatever you want with that. And you've seen like, the Dark Knight trilogy is Oscar worthy. Heath Ledger won an Oscar for the role of a fucking superhero movie. This can be high art. The Batman is high art. Wakanda, that's some race shit, with the whole nomination stuff. But Infinity War, it's even Civil War with all of its kind of plot contrivances. It's like they're going for high octane and some, lofty subtextual stuff there about sovereignty. So even like more sloppy stuff is still like highbrow in its concepts. That's what's irritating. And there's some highbrow concepts with this time travel stuff in The Flash. That's kind of cool. And philosophically about heroism of like, well, some people just, you gotta let them die. It's just, it's like, that's the hard truth. So even that, it's like, okay, but it's, no one's going to take away, like, it's a very dour perspective of reality in an otherwise fairly bright and happy character. And like, really, this is this is a concept that you might expect from something of the caliber of like No Country for Old Men. But because it's within a very sloppy movie, no one's going to like look at this film and put it on that bar of like philosophical discussion, like the nihilism and kind of chance fate storytelling of No Country for Old Men. That's why I'm irritated. It's like, why aren't you aiming for that? It feels like people are just like doing enough.
Or less.
That's why I'm irritated. Winter Soldier is the best MCU film, Tim says. Disagree. I would say, even though I don't like it really, it's okay. I think Guardians 3 is better than Winter Soldier. And I don't even really like that movie. I Saw My Fur was mixed. One guy wrecked a comic on YouTube. Yeah, I love Dick Masterson and Vito. They're fucking funny. I'm actually, Tim, if you're talking about Vito specifically, I'm having them on next week. Talk Super Killer. I'm excited because I've been watching them off and on, and I've been binging a lot of the biggest problem in the universe. So I'm excited to get a kind of totally fresh perspective. Still talking in the sphere of comics and movies, but you know, politically, he's kind of in his own land because he's not straight liberal either. He'll pigeonhole himself as liberal, but he's kind of nuanced. He's got some red pill takes too. So I'm excited. Yeah, Vito and Dick are funny, dude. If you're not watching them consistently, aside from the ISOM shit, keep doing it. And I'm expecting more ISOM smack talk week to week because of the number 2 campaign. But even though it's funny to see him rip on it, like I'm actually taking the criticism to heart because I'm seeing it. Even EVS, like he's trying to be more diplomatic, but he's like, hey, like these guys got some real points about your crap comic. He's like, I read it twice, and like these are real problems, Eric. And that's what's funny. It's like they were just like kind of plugging their ears and screaming. It's like that. I can't remember what happened, but there's a part in the Bible where it's like they're like just refusing the prophet and his message. And so they're all like fucking screaming and plugging their ears like fucking SJWs. No, triggered, And it's like, it feels like what's going on with this. It's like kind of, I got a lot of people that are pro or just neutral on ISOM and Eric July. I watch them. So it's like, I'm sub to them. So I watch them often. But it's like, I'm just seeing a lot of gnashing of teeth, SJW screaming because they don't like the people saying it. Even though it's, if you could argue valid, but it's definitely worthwhile perspective in criticism, aside from team stuff, factionalism. So, yeah, I think it's good to have a pushback because his friends were shilling out. He was saying, yeah, no, it's totally, yeah, this is the problem. It's like if you watch the Flashcast, this kind of encapsulates everything. Flashcast. At one point, Flash is like, yeah, he can, like, he's asking what the powers are. And the Flash like, yeah, he can fly too, right? And Dick's like, he can fly? ? And then they're like, all fucking hawk him, like, you didn't read it? He can't fly. And like, well, yeah, I read it. I had no idea he could fly. Flash is telling me he can fly. And you're saying, I said that. And it's like, this is a sign of a bad book. It's not even clear what his fucking powers are. And I get that, like, oh, later, Miles Morales didn't fucking electrocute people and go invisible in the first issue. That's like later down the line. It's like, oh, here's another twist for you. He can do this. He's not just a Spider-Person. He's a Spider-Person with electric shock and invisibility. But can he control it? A new twist. Additional powers. Flash, he didn't do this time travel shit the first run, Superman I don't think Superman flew the first issue. It's something they added later, so totally fine. But it seems like it's kind of unclear besides like even his power level. It's like, what is it? Is he how vulnerable is he? Like you need to kind of have an idea. Like, and that's something too. Meth Gator, he can resist regular rounds of ammunition. He's an enhanced alligator man. But if you got armor piercing rounds, that might start busting his scales off. Now he's vulnerable. So there's thought here, you know. It's just funny. Like a lot of stuff is like I see various people in our sphere confiscating stuff, and I'm like, I'm always worried about my writing, what I'm going to put out, and then I see the other stuff put out where it's like, oh wow, I think I'm going to be way better off than I was worried about. Like, I don't know. Yeah, Superman can only do leaps and bounds. Captain Marvel could fly before Superman. Do you mean Shazam, Captain Marvel? Yeah, Dick was saying his friends were shilling and not being objective, which I could see when you were that big. Yeah, it's like people, he's on the team more or less, and you also want to cozy up and, if you say something negative, then, oh, he won't want to hang out with me, and I can't get subs.
Well, it's like no matter how big I get or how small I am, when people see my stuff, I want people to say what they like and don't like. That's what I want. Like, oh, this part was good. This part could use some work. Or what was the idea here? And I don't know. Stuff like that can be good feedback.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Because I mean, if all you guys said, yeah, your stuff's great, Rook, it's all great. Okay, so I'm gonna make things like this, right? Oh, well, we didn't actually mean that it was good. I'd be like, well, then what the fuck? What was that? If people tell you that it's good, but they don't think it is good.
Right, yeah, like, it's not even me being negative. I just, I'll hear you tell me X thing about a project, and I'm like, oh, what if you did this? Like, I'm like the sentence enhancer.
Exactly, yeah, and you gave some good ideas for
it's
me.
Like technically that's a criticism of like, well, it's okay, but it could be better. And it's not even, it's just like, ooh, punch it up a bit, And it's just kind of an instantaneous. It's not even being like, that sucks. It needs to do this thing. It's just, I don't know. It's in that same realm.
A bit.
Not even being negative.
Yeah, well, I mean, I guess for me, like, I seek out people's perspectives all the time, so I'm always in the, I'm expecting to be criticized all the time. I mean, after the Rookie's Quest, everybody says they like it, and there's things people can like in it. People say the things they like in it. Not as many of them say things they don't like in that, That's where I can look at it and go, cringe immediately. Okay, why is there an establishing shot of the city? What the fuck does that have to do with anything? Why are random people getting credited for parts they're only in for 3 seconds for, compared to ones like what, like already, like that's what I'd be like. If I were to critique my own shit, it'd be hours long, going like, God, what was the idea here? No, I understand what I was trying to do with the like Jeremy's and I don't have them physically here, so I'm doing this, but could I have done this instead, maybe, or this? What the fuck was my idea? Like that's what I'd be doing now. Like, not, yeah, it's all great. It's great. The dialogue I chose for people to have were total dog shit. And my character just gets like angry. And it's like,
I think there was a scene. I think there was a scene in one of your rookie trilogies or whatever of it was like fucking General Katarn and Drunk 3PO and I think Mary.
Yes,
like a dog. And it's like I don't know if I don't know if like they added to what you gave them, but it was like, within the confines of like no one is living by each other and we're all sending clips to you.
No, they just appear. They just appear there and they're here. They're in my house or something. They're just around now. Yeah.
Right. But yeah, so like with these like, wacky limitations to make this, it was like, wow, that was really well, the editing and the things being said. It was like, wow, I think it's like a dog or something. And it's kind of corny, but it was like, well, it's actually like pretty good and emotional.
Yeah, there's like it was still emotionally conveyed, but yeah.
Right, yeah, it's just like, there's a limitation, like it's different film qualities, different capturings, different angles that don't quite match up with like back and forth or a conversation of people. But it's it's like, oh, that was really cool. Especially, this is amateur filming, filmmaking. So yeah, no, like
yeah, point is with it. Yeah, I mean, I'll take the pros and cons that people have to say about my stuff. That's noted. So far, I've shown the same joke from the Fat Speedster where he knocks the soda out of my hand to 6 different people, and everyone's fucking laughed. So that's a good hint for me. That kind of thing can be funny, and to not overdo it or do that multiple times, but just like the one thing that's funny. At least I get
Well,
got
the other
one
thing
laugh,
too,
you know.
the other thing too, keep in mind is that you're going to be losing like for yourself while you're editing this, trying to like game plan. Oh, do I keep this? Do I throw it out? Do I add something else? Your perspective is going to be constantly morphing compared to like when you're showing random people for like a one time. Like School of Rock, for instance, like it's somewhat improv and it's a lot of laughing through the jokes, and they have to like make it unfunny for themselves.
Yeah.
And so this is a factor for you because it's very, very much a comedic take on a Flash speedster template. So I think there's gonna be some things down the line that just the repetitiveness will like you're gonna lose the like humor that you're
Well, yeah,
intending
I was actually
from your own perspective.
No, you're right. Well, I was feeling that not only today but yesterday when I'm filming, and it's like, you know, because it's a fat character and he's supposed to run a lot and he gets tired. Like I was like, I'm just while I was filming, I'm like heaving and hoeing, and I'm like, is this even fucking funny? Like he runs and then he's tired. Like I was like kind of angry because I was like, is this even fucking funny anymore? Like, will people be like, okay, this is the lamest? It was funny in the first episode, but now it's getting really old. Like, I was thinking about that. I mean, when I edit, maybe I'll see, you know, if it works or not. Still here or there, if I if I stage them differently enough that it works, but it's a little bit of a concern. I'm like, will people be bored? I think about that too with scenes where there's no music or like enough sounds going on or enough like things on screen. I'm like, are people gonna fall asleep or can they like stay awake and focus and not want to click off? Like,
I think you should always be trying to. That's another thing too. Is like the Flash. There's so much. It's just noise. It's loud. And I get it's a blockbuster summer. You know, explosions or redoing the Zod fight. You know, lots of punching, superhero, electricity, whatever. But just like they like do like think a fucking Jack White song, but then it cuts to like sort of Elfman-esque Batman music because then he like flies through and is doing his Batwing shit, and then it's like, oh, now we're cutting to just regular cinematic orchestra music. That's not the Batman theme itself. For this, and it's like fucking just God. I wish there could be just the fucking noise, like if it was just quiet, there's no music, and then like when younger Barry gets fucking stabbed, taking the stab instead of current Barry from future Barry. It's like if they went like the Spider-Man 2 route when Spider-Man is when Parker is sitting with Aunt May and it's fucking quiet. There's no music to cheat your emotions. And he's like, yeah, I was there when Uncle Ben died. And I've been keeping this from you for like a year or two now. And it's been bottled up. And it's a quiet scene. That's like one of the like best scenes in film in my book.
Yeah, I
guess
no
cheating.
I'm
it's just well. The point is I'm making, Ricky, is I get you're like trying to like keep engagement and set the tone.
Well, I mean, a scene with no dialogue, sound, or music, really. Like
also, I think you should watch. I think you should always keep in mind a scene like that like is very impactful for me specifically. It's impactful retroactively because I see so much fucking noise, and it's like no one in film anymore just like lets stuff simmer and be quiet and simple. Like House of Dragon was so good because it's a pretty fucking quiet show. Like, yeah, it's lots of talking, but it's quiet. It's not bombarding me.
Yeah, and when we
personal.
Get the small 30 seconds of action, it's like, oh, that felt good because it was only so brief and more character work, really.
But, yeah, so I think you should always be trying to think, like I talked about, when I used to do the essay videos, which I want to do, so I just don't have time. But when I do those, I'm always trying to self-edit. Like even when I'm writing the script the first time around before I proofread it and shorten it up more, I'm working with like how can I make this shorter and more concise and quicker? Not for algorithm stuff, but just like I don't need to write a 10-page essay.
You don't want to have fluff that is
Yeah,
unnecessary.
I want the Dark Knight every time I'm writing. I want no fat.
You don't want people to be looking away and going, "Oh fuck."
You could have
this."
cut that. I didn't
want
need to know. I want
Yeah.
precision when I write.
Yes.
And so yeah, I kind of write like with Meth Gator. I'm right. It's like I'm not trying to make it wow the world and boom and pow. Like I possibly can get in some wacky spiritual like Ghost Rider type shit, Hellboy type shit. I don't know. It depends on how people react once I get that far down the line. But yeah, like it's all just like this guy is in jeopardy and he fits in a bigger militaristic police force system. He's essentially a thorn in the side, you know, his existence. This is something we gotta squash. It's the problem. It's not like the world's at stake. The government's not even at stake. It's like essentially like some shadow agencies, you know, and players involved in that. Meth Gator's just like his existence is a threat. And yeah, I don't I try to keep stuff small. That way if it gets big, it's like it's earned, you know. So I'm always trying to do that like no fat writing.
Yep. Ditto.
But no, Tim said he's trying to work on a Tim Possible spinoff. Yeah, DM me what you mean by that, Tim.
Was there a Tim Possible movie that I missed?
No, I think he just means for his channel, like a spinoff of.
I
his
got
channel.
you. Let's say did he make a fucking film?
Well, because he
that
does,
I
you know,
did
the
not see now?
acting and whatnot. So
True.
But yeah, I'm gonna cut this. I gotta go to bed. So appreciate you hanging out. And we'll have to have you on again, Tim. Yeah, Mexican Army's supposed to be on, but he's always fucking up his scheduling with me. So Jesus Christ.
One day. Maybe sometime this year.
Yeah. But anyway, appreciate you hanging out. Go watch Tim's review tomorrow and subscribe to The Biggest Problem in the Universe. Get ready to be here Tuesday. Me hanging out with Vito Giswaldi of Super Killer. Back Super Killer. Sounds like a fun fucking story. Wacky stuff. See you Tuesday.